Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. What's going on? What's going on, boys? How are we doing? Shit, everybody who might be in chat, guys. Give me a second. Yo, what's going on, Mr. Krabs? Welcome, welcome. Yo, Jamie, what's going on, fella? Give me a second, boy. Yo, how's the audio sounding, guys? We sounding all right? We sounding crisp? We all right? Just check if we got a... Yeah, we have. Appreciate everybody locking in. Dude, it feels like Friday for me because Rosie's off work tomorrow and Friday now. So, it's nice. It's a moment. It's a moment. She booked tomorrow and Friday off because it's my birthday. Toilet's been your friend as of recent. You got the squits, have ya? You got the shits. You got the hot and spicy caca poo poo, have ya? Huh? You mean splatter in the pan? Pebble dashing it? Spraying it, huh? Liquid ass. A bit of liquid ass. Hot and spicy caca poo poo. The weekend's usually a bad days, but not all the time. What sucks to hear? Yeah, we're going because it's my birthday tomorrow, so Friday we're going for food at Miller and Carter, which should be nice. Tomorrow I'm probably just going to stream because Flintlock comes out tomorrow and the Thorn and Liberty beta starts as well. So we're going to play a little bit, just a little bit though, because I don't want to spoil myself too much because I'm looking to play the game on launch. So you had to go to the doctors, you got that bad? Holy shit, dude, what you picked up you got food poisoning or something? Well, I'll get better soon then, dude. That's crazy. Is the stream looking alright on YouTube? It looked really like it was stop motion just. Alright, so we're going to do some dailies on Wuthering Waves today, and then probably play a bit more Zenless, and we might even check out some solo leveling, or we might actually start playing Tower of Fantasy, try it, first time, give it a whirl. The new game's coming out, Never Needs to Everness, so I thought, you know what, maybe a perfect time to check it out, or we might just drop onto some Final Fantasy. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah. And we'll react to some videos first. So there's a couple of videos I wanted to check out. Have a little look. Farm some content. You know where it is. Don't know, it's been different shades and going. So it has me, oh shit, dude. What do you think, you might have blood in it or something? Oh, you got it sorted then, dude. Yeah, Never Needs to Everness looks great. Really looking forward to that game, actually. So I've had any blood, fingers crossed. Okay. Honestly, the state of Tower of Fantasy is nowadays. Yeah, I've never played it. Like, people keep saying, dude, it's trash, don't bother, game sucks, they've run it into the ground, all of this negativity. And every time somebody says that, I'm like, I kind of want to try it more now. You know? Just makes me want to check it out. Hey Stutzer, how's it going, dude? Yeah, it's like the more bad things I hear about it, the more I'm like, I want to do it. I want to do it. So yeah, as I say, Flintlock tomorrow and Throne and Liberty. Over Friday there'll be no daytime stream because obviously going for food. Yeah, not doing anything for tomorrow. Boring birthday. We're just gonna play games and stream, which sounds like a great birthday to me actually though. You know, can't really get any better nowadays. The weekend we'll probably stream Saturday. I don't know what we're gonna play Saturday though. We'll probably get our dailies done in Wuthering Waves and in Zenless. And then I think we might, I don't know. Depends on how good this flintlock is. If this flintlock's good, then probably we'll finish playing through that, I guess. Depending on how long the game is. It's supposed to be like a Souls light kind of game, but I think it's got difficulty settings. So I think they're saying that they want people to... It's got a more cinematic experience, a story experience. I think they want people to enjoy the story, but I think there's difficulty options so you can have a little bit more of a Souls-like experience, or just an action RPG with more... what's the word I'm looking for? More... I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for with that type of combat, with, you know, yeah, but you know what I'm saying, like, it's that type of combat, but I don't know how that'll work in an easier difficulty. Will enemies, like, will there be a bigger dodge, parry window, all that sort of stuff? I'm curious. So, hopefully it's fun. It looks cool anyway. I want to check it out. And then we'll be checking out Throne and Liberty also. Beta start. But as I said, I have already played a little bit of it in the closed alpha. And I really like the game. And I want to play it when it launches. But I don't want to keep doing... Because it'll probably be the start area again, I would imagine. I don't want to keep playing that and play too much of it. And then the game comes out. And I'm like... I kind of get jaded for the first few hours of the game. And that ruins the experience. So we'll probably only play a couple of hours of Throne and Liberty. Just to see how things are coming along. And then we'll drop it. So, come September, we can really, you know, enjoy it for what it is. And appreciate the launch. How's the mic sounding as well, guys? Is it okay? Are we too loud? Are we too, you know, too much gain? We alright, are we? Are we okay? How's things anyway? Those studs, are you all good? Stream's all good? Sweet. Sweet. Alright, I want to check out a couple of videos. Okay. Give me a moment.
Hey guys, AJ here. Welcome back to...
Whoop. You like the Dangina wallpaper, do you? Yo, Joe, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's my B-day tomorrow. One year closer to oblivion, eh? Alright, let's check this video out then, boys and girls, shall we? See what it's saying. Just check it out. Big screen tear there. Big screen tear there. Okay. Video from Gamba AJ. Wuthering Waves. This is a problem for all players. What's the problem? I'm curious. One thing before we get into this video, I did notice that from a content standpoint, at least streaming-wise, this game has really dropped off, which irks me, pains me. I know we're in a bit of a content lull at the moment, which is kind of the cycle, but it's like less than 1,000 people when I last checked on Twitch, which is crazy. As a Wuthering Waves Andy, you know, it hurts inside. But let's check this video out then. Wuthering Waves, this is a problem for all players.
Hey guys, AJ here. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be...
This is a new character, actually, that's coming out, isn't it? We have got to see the kit. They do look actually quite good. I forgot what the girl's name is now, but she looks insane. I thought she was like a witch, because it looked like she had a wand and a broomstick. But the paintbrushes, I think, and she looks insane. She looks really good, actually.
Talking about how Kuro Games has created a big problem for Wuthering Waves and how they're going to need to address it in the future and how it affects all players, whether it's
Interesting.
a whale, light spender, or even free to play. We'll get into
What is that? This is not a screen tear. Is this like some kind of mirroring? What's going on here? Whatever. Anyway, I'm interested. I don't know what the issue is personally.
the meat and potatoes of the situation.
This
As
is the
always,
character I was
guys,
talking about.
If you like the content,
I love the way she looks. The other dude looks super plain, in my opinion, which I think that kind of balances out some of the more spectacular looking characters. It does help. It does help. But I think he just looks a little bit too plain. And I feel the fact that he's a 5-star, he's going to be a real poor returning banner, I think, unless he's just absolutely ridiculously insane. But even then, I don't think he's going to do that well. Maybe it would have been a good idea, because I think with characters like that, there's no reason why they can't just make them 4-stars and just bundle them in with some of the banners, maybe. Not everything has to be a 5-star as well. They need to start launching some more 4-stars. I'd like to see a little bit more of that as well. Not every single one needs to be a 5-star, because we're going to have a bit of a problem then, I think, as well.
on the channel, please hit a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, please share this video, as
She looks awesome
spreading
now, man.
awareness to
She
the
looks so
community
cute.
is going to be a big help for this video, as if
Okay.
it becomes a talking point and it reaches other creators and other people who play Wuthering Waves. Kuro sees all this stuff, guys. They don't just listen to CN, they also
That is true. That's one thing I'll give Kuro. They do definitely seem to listen to the international market as well. I think it's because they've got the percentages of their revenue and their fan base seems to be a little bit more evenly split. Where with Huyo, it's drastically more in China, so they just don't really care what the rest of the world's got to say, and that's been evident over the last couple of years, I think, with Huyo, hasn't he?
take global feedback as well, and they like to address
Dude,
all
she
the
looks so
issues,
awesome.
okay, that anybody has any criticism of. That way they keep improving their game, like they showed us with patch 1.1, which was an amazing patch. But without further ado, guys, let's get into the video.
Dude, their animations look great. So fluid. Wuthering Waves, massive problem.
So first, guys, in order for me to talk about the problem, I need to give you guys a little bit of context. How many of you guys play different gacha games aside from Wuthering Waves? Maybe you're playing Zenless Zone Zero right now because it's a new hot thing.
True,
Maybe you're playing
true.
Genshin Impact preparing for Natlan. Maybe you're playing Honkai Star Rail and we just got new drip marketing for new characters coming out, and their patch is just around the corner once the Jade banner ends. These things that I'm speaking of right now, these different gacha games and how it's affecting you as a player right now, is going to be point A, as you guys have options right now and you guys can play multiple gachas if you have the
I think that's the problem all gacha games are suffering from now. All games suffer from this in any genre, you know, whether it be a battle royale genre, extraction genre, any genre. They're all fighting for your attention, aren't they? And we've only got so much time and so much money to buy games, and obviously there's free-to-play games and such, but there's the extra element with gacha games, with the time investment and daily logins and stuff, and then obviously the monetary side of things and the grind if you're going to try and be free to play. There's that extra layer. You can only really have a couple of, maybe like 3 really, that you can properly dedicate yourself to if you have a life as well. And that's even pushing it then. You know, I don't understand how some people can really grind so many different gacha games and actually, like, you know, eat and bathe. Well, they probably don't, but you know, it's I think it's exacerbated in the gacha space that, you know, that you've kind of got to pick and choose a couple and really invest yourself into those, haven't you, whether it's time or money or whatever.
time. Now, I don't know who is watching this video. Maybe
Me.
you guys have a girlfriend or boyfriend. Maybe you guys are parents. Maybe you guys are in school right now and you're out on summer break and now you have a bunch of free time to play. Everybody's situation is a little bit different when speaking about
Dude,
how much
Chanli's
time
kit
they
looks
have
so
and how much
freaking
time they
good.
have to play these gacha games.
Looks so good.
So it's really important to understand, guys, that you have options right now because we're currently in the golden age of gacha gaming. And the reason why I say that is because not only do you have options now, wait till later down the line when Azure Familia comes out, Project Mugen comes out, guys.
True.
We just got a trailer.
We've just got Nevernis to Evanis. I've heard some people actually saying that is Project Mugen, but it was different devs, wasn't it? But I don't know if like that it's the IP's been brought and they've changed the name. That's what people were saying anyway. Obviously, it kind of sounds a little bit wild to me, but then not actually out of the realm of possibility. But Project Mugen's really been usurped by Nevernis to Evanis, really, to be fair, because they dropped a trailer, got 5 million pre-registrations, and then went totally off the map, didn't they? I'm curious to see if we're actually going to see some more of this soon, because they've really got to start getting their promotion out there now with Nevernis to Evanis, because that game looks amazing in my opinion.
To Neverness to Everness, a new game that's going to be coming out in the future. So one thing I want to prioritize, guys, is again, you guys have options. And you guys are paying when you play these gacha games. And I know some of you might be saying, AJ, I'm free to play. I don't pay any money on these gacha games.
You're paying me your time. And to be fair, we've got so much choice in video games at the moment. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we've ever had so much trash in video games. But we have got so much choice in video games now. And to be fair, people forget the days of the early 2000s. I remember the days when, I think, was it THQ, were banging out, I think in the space of a couple of years, they put out about 200 games plus or something like that of movie tie-in games. Remember, like, there was pretty much every freaking TV show there was a TV show tie-in, a movie tie-in, from Nickelodeon stuff, SpongeBob, through to Cartoon Network, through to whatever you can think of, James Bond, and 95 to 99% of them are absolute garbage. So I think we look back in nostalgia sometimes. Don't get me wrong. PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 eras was just insane for games, especially the PlayStation 2 era. But I think we've got so much choice with video games just lately. Because I hear people saying a lot, oh, there's nothing to play. And I'm like, I think you need to just, spread your eyes out and look for some other stuff, because there's so many good games to play at the moment. You just need to maybe break off the shackles of genres. And sometimes I think people worry about games that are free to play being like, well, it's got to be trash, it's got to be shovelware. There's lots of good free to play games out there. Obviously, some of them have better monetization systems than others, but man, there's so many good games out there at the minute.
No, but you're still paying with your time. And it's important to understand that you as a person are very valuable, and time is very valuable. So what you play, I feel like you should be getting the best quality and enjoyment. This is where I want to talk about Wuthering Waves, whereas I feel like it's my favorite gacha right now. And that's saying something.
I'd say the same for me as well.
I love Honkai Star Rail. Now, with Wuthering Waves being my favorite gacha, I play it constantly every day. I have to grind. I also have to make content for you guys whenever news drops or anything like that. And I appreciate the growth of the.
To be fair, sometimes though, I think that can take the shine off a game, when you're doing that, especially for content's sake. It can really, because you go from just doing it as a hobby, something you enjoy, to really trying to go deeper into the game and find meaning where there might not be meaning sometimes. It just kind of like really takes away from the game, in my opinion.
This channel. However, there is an issue.
As somebody who's done that before.
Big four gachas, I'm talking about Genshin, Honkai Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, and Zenless Zone Zero, that only Wuthering Waves and Kuro has, and that is the 7-week cycle. And you may be confused saying, what are you talking about, AJ, 7-week cycle, as some people may be new to the gacha genre and just wanted to play this open world game. Well, currently, guys, Wuthering Waves is also preparing for their console launch too, where they're going to get a bunch of brand new players, and they're going to have this big dump of players.
I think that's going to be absolutely massive, actually. I do. I think console players are going to absolutely eat up Wuthering Waves. I really do, because I think it's a quality game. The combat's great. I think it's going to be a real introduction to a new gacha game that looks amazing, with actual, genuine, really good, tight action combat.
Players coming in from the console side, while we have already been playing on either mobile or PC, whichever one you're playing on. And it's important for you guys to be aware of this, that
dude looks so basic.
7-week cycles that Wuthering Waves goes through, meaning 28 days for Jin C, 21 days for Chang Li. That's how long the characters are out for, guys, as well as the entire patch before we move on to 1.2, which is we have
so I'm
to
guessing
go
he's
through
talking
7 weeks.
I'm guessing he's talking about the length of the banners maybe being too long, and it being a little bit too much time to keep people's attention span, and they might drift off to play other games, and then, because of that sunk cost system as well with gacha games, maybe just kind of like not coming back potentially. I think there's positives and negatives to it. That's if he's what he's going to talk about. I'm assuming what he's going to talk about. But I think one thing I do like about Wuthering Waves, it reduces FOMO and a lot of things like that. Like how it is with the events within updates. The stuff just lasts for the patch or for a good set of time. And it allows you to come back and have a bit of time off and come back, and you haven't missed out on a bunch of mats and currency and pulls and all that sort of stuff, which is quite nice. But at the same time, I think they should maybe add in smaller events that only last a couple of days. And obviously there's going to be FOMO there, but I just think we'd get more content then, and they'll be able to spin them out a bit quicker because they're a lot smaller. They're more bite size. They only last a couple of days. There's not much to them, but it's just a little something fresh for the people who are regularly visiting the game, and they don't get burnt out on really having nothing to do, especially if they've cleared all the endgame content as well.
Now, why this is bad for players, guys, is player retention, because as of right now, yes, we may be grinding our echoes, Yes, we may be daily login and just completing our dailies, getting our ass right, and everything like that. However, while there may be some challenging content in the game right now for all of us, eventually everyone's account is going to progress to the max level, whatever union level that is the current max level for Wuthering Waves, and we're going to max out all our characters practically, and eventually we're going to get to that point where we can prepare for characters ahead of time, min-max.
This is true though. These are all good points really, because like this is the gacha cycle, isn't it? You max out your particular characters that you like, and then once you've done that, if you're still enjoying your stay, you start to build your other characters, and then you get into that cycle of prepping for the next characters, maybe pre-farming, stacking wishes, all that sort of stuff. And if that sort of does become extended, it is going to be it is going to make people slip away a little bit, I think, because you've already, like I say, you've already seen that when I was saying about the amount of people watching on Twitch. It's insane how much it's dropped off. But I don't hear anybody really saying that they don't like Wuthering Waves unless they're like a massive Genshin Andy. Because all the content creators kind of like it, but they are all on Zenless at the moment. And I know it's a new hot sauce, it's a new spicy thing, but I definitely do think this is an issue, especially for content creators as well, because it gives them nothing new to share. And let's face it, in video games nowadays, content creators are a massive part of keeping that cycle of keeping people interested and retention and eyes on the game as well, isn't it? It's a massive factor nowadays. No matter how much people want to deny it, like, you know, large content creators drive eyes towards games massively.
Them get good echoes ready to go day one and just pull on the character. When we get to that point, guys, which is approaching every day, essentially these 7-week cycles aren't going to feel as good. What's essentially going to happen is we're going to get an amazing story quest, we're going to get some events along the way, do the events, explore the new area, but by then it's on average going to take us maybe 5 days if you're a busy person. If you're not that busy and you have free time, maybe 2 days, and the middle ground would be like 3 days, guys. So after that 3 days, what do? You can move on to another gacha game, of course, and play that till it's downtime. But
this is one thing for me where I feel like no gacha game has really solved the issue yet, is really creating a genuinely interesting, repeatable, almost endless, replayable endgame system. I don't think anybody's solved that issue yet, and I don't know if they ever will. There's the potential to create stuff. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of time and constant updates, but I think that's where you can solve if you are going to not shorten the updates, you know, because obviously all this stuff takes time to create, and I suppose they don't want to pump out too much stuff early and, you know, and then not have enough content to keep it dripping kind of thing, you know what I mean? So I think maybe they need to work on more endgame content. That's what's going to keep people retained. Stuff that's really enjoyable, that's fresh, that changes, that has like a sort of refreshing and rotating system to it as well. That's actually had some variety to it also. Like, it's difficult, and I haven't got the answer, but I feel like that is the way that we need to go to keep people attached, because you're always going to burn through content, especially people who are enjoying the game and play it a lot are going to burn through content. There's only so much content that can actually parade, but if they create systems that can, you know, pivot and change and feel fresh and feel challenging and give you loads of different things to do, I think that's the way to go about it. Because at the moment we have got good endgame stuff, but it is quite limited, isn't it?
the issue is going to be is right now, currently, most Wuthering Waves players that are playing different gachas are either playing something along.
I want to know when gaming became about doing everything as quickly as possible. It seems modern games are very small interest windows. You agree, dude? And soon even big titties fade away. I remember when a game was common talking point for months and months. Agreed. I do agree. I think that is the culture of the internet, and content creation's driven a little bit of that, hasn't it? It's like we don't get to really enjoy games from the off. This is why I was talking about Throne and Liberty, and I was saying that I'm going to try a little bit of the beta, and that's it, because I want to enjoy the launch. We see games, we kind of know what a game's all about before we even get to play it day one, and that kind of takes the shine off it, doesn't it? And then there's this drive to just push through all the content. Everybody wants to min-max. Everybody's learning how to do everything the best way, and it kind of takes that enjoyment, that specialness of learning things in a game and trying new things out, and you know, failing at stuff, and then being like, oh, let's try this now, and getting that magical feeling of like, man, this really works, and you came to it with your own conclusion as well. I think that content creation and streaming has inevitably been a big factor in changing that, hasn't it? Really, there's no denying it.
on something smaller like Cookie Run Kingdom, or if they're playing another big gacha, they're either playing Honkai Star Rail for the most part. Zenless Zone Zero, I would say some, but I think most people who play Wuthering Waves don't really even want to play Zenless Zone Zero, and I think Zenless...
I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. You know, there might be a large portion of players who just like, I don't vibe with that. I think there's a lot of people who don't, because let's face it, Zenless Zone Zero has created a big divergence in opinions. You know, people are really at odds with each other. There's some people who love it. There's some people who just say it's absolute trash. I'm in the middle. Like, I think the game's decent. It's a lot of fun. It really is. It's simple when you start off with, but there is genuinely some nuance to the game. And the game doesn't really show that off well, and even doesn't teach that. It kind of says, look at this brainless game, but it's not so brainless. But I think there's a lot of people who play Wuthering Waves that enjoy Zenless Zone Zero. I think there's a lot of people who play Wuthering Waves that enjoy all of the different gachas, at least the quality ones anyway. I think the people who just get like the sunk cost bias with games and are just Andes and are just like fanboys and such are the type of people who are just like, yeah, no, that's just not touching that. But you know, he might be right, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there's plenty of people who play Wuthering Waves will enjoy Zenless as well. And vice versa.
Zero players feel the same way about Wuthering Waves, where they just really want to play Zenless Zone Zero. They don't want to play Wuthering. So to
be fair though, Zenless is the new hot thing, isn't it? So even I've been playing a lot of that recently, but I definitely think Wuthering Waves is a better game in my opinion. They both do different things and they do them better in different ways. But yeah, I've been playing it because it's new. It's a honeymoon period, isn't it?
those two are separated, and of course Genshin players just, I don't know, they feels like they only play Genshin and they're...
That's one thing I will agree with. That's one thing I've noticed. Genshin players really seem to like... I think there definitely is like this kind of like, you know, master race kind of attitude with Genshin players as well. I see it a lot. Now, I know that games is a tribal space. Everybody, you know, every game's got that sort of community to it, you know, with the toxicity and whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of Genshin players, like any game that comes out and it's just automatically, it's absolute trash because it's not Genshin. And I think a lot of that's because, I don't know, maybe there's special memories of people because it released in COVID, and then there's people who spent a lot of money, and then there's the sort of people that really hate when games take things from other games, which I don't get. Because at the end of the day, I don't even care if a game plagiarizes another game. If I get a good product at the end of it, I'm happy.
Still committed to this game, but I mean, they have Natland gearing up, so let's see how long this lasts before we get into another drama with them that we got to cover. But the reason why, guys, this is important for Kuro to change it and for us to spread awareness is we're eventually going to hit a patch period in the future where we're like, we're bored. We don't, there's not enough content in the game, and it's going to be frustrating.
I think there's a lot of people already there now, if I'm honest. I am not, because after 1.1 dropped, I went through the main part of the story, and then I stopped for a couple of days, and then Zenless came out, and well, Zenless came out right after 1.1, so I played a bit of it, done the story, and then I've still got plenty to do. Like, I've still got some of my characters to build at the moment. I've still got a bunch of traces to do with characters. I've still got endgame content to do, and I've still got a bunch of side quests left now in the new area. So I've still got plenty to do. So I suppose not rushing through it has helped me there, really. But I think that's the way gacha players play these games. Something new comes out and they hammer it hard, and then they just go off to something else, don't they? And I think that's why they get bored. So I suppose looking at the way the players play the game is important, and maybe adapting to that, to maybe shortening things up, or having like parts to the updates where new stuff hits midway through. I think that probably is the best way to solve it. You know, events, whatever it might be, adaptations to the end game, switching things up, you know, changing the battles, changing the holograms, changing afflictions and statuses, and, you know, resistances, and just adding like kind of unique little things on the fly.
Frustrating because I feel like content creators right now for Wuthering Waves are kind of carrying the hype for 1.2. Eventually we all will be hyped when we see the trailer, and obviously there are character animations. If you want to go check them out ahead of time, guys, I have kit detail.
So this is what I say, this is like the problem before we even know what's coming. We know what's coming almost because the leaks and kit details, and people already know, right, I know exactly how I'm going to build this character, and I've got to go and do all this, and we pre-farm, and I think it takes a bit away the enjoyment. And then when the game comes out, everybody wants to race to have the most powerful character, so they're prepped pretty much. The character drops and they max the character out within a couple of hours, whereas I like to just kind of wing it, really, with these games. until I'm like, I hit a brick wall, and then I'm like, okay, maybe now I'll look to see what the community's saying and what's the best way to go about it, potentially, if I can't figure it out myself.
Videos and I have their animations being shown off. I don't cover any story, you know, I'm never gonna do that, but I do think the only reason Kuro Games even has hype for 1.2 right now is because the content creators are covering the kit and showing off the characters and what they can do right now. And I think they should be a little bit thankful, because I feel like if it wasn't for content creators right now showing off what ZZZ and Zhang Liao could do, there would be this little quietness and the hype would die down.
I think the hype has died down a little bit, and it is still kind of quiet, even though they have been shown off. I suppose they are kind of carrying the hype a little bit, I guess. But at the same time, the game has just launched. I think, like, you know, with these live service long-term games, I think we do have to allow for the opening window to, you know, give us the initial bit of the game, and then maybe a little bit of a slowdown, a trail off in things, and then hopefully things ramp up, because initially they're going to see how well the game does, how much revenue is coming in, maybe increasing the size of the teams. All that sort of stuff's got to be taken into account from a business standpoint. You know, overheads, right? Can we employ more people to get this sort of content out? What's the consumer wanting? Let's pivot. Let's add this into the game. Let's change this. That all sort of takes time, doesn't it? So I'm a little bit more forgiving in that sense, where the initial launch or the post launch, I'm okay with a bit of a lull, because I think that's to be expected in most live service games as the company kind of gathers steam and picks up and starts going. But obviously from a consumer standpoint, most people are, I don't care about that, just give me shit now, I need it now and I want it now, kind of thing. And if you don't, I'll go elsewhere and get it from somewhere else.
And guys, you're gonna have, like I said before, Project Mugen and Azure Pamelia, Neverness to Everness. But guys, who's to say there isn't other gachas being worked on quietly that are probably going to show a trailer and be like, oh yeah, here's closer to release day. And then you have that. And then maybe when we're on the 7-week cycle, you may be like, yeah, it's cool that Kuro Games is making another patch, but honestly, it takes too long. Why would you not go play another game? I'm not going to do that.
To be fair, I think all of these problems, though, affect all live service games. It's not just a gacha game situation. I think this affects, like, you know, free-to-play shooters, you know, things like Valorant, Destiny, you know, insert game here, whatever MMO it is, all stuff from this situation of there's always something else attracting the attention of the consumer. I don't think this is just specific to Wuthering Waves or gacha games as well.
That because I love Wuthering Waves, but I just want to let you guys know that I think Kuro Games is shooting themselves in the foot right now, because every patch they improve. They gave us an amazing Gen Z story, amazing visuals.
Agreed.
Mount Firmament was beautiful.
Definitely stepped up everything in 1.1.
The music fit well. It was peaceful. It's one of my favorite environments. I never liked Dragon Spine from Genshin because of the freezing issue. The fact that I can roam around freely in this snow-covered mountain, and then when the sun's out, it looks nice.
Dude, I hated that.
Nice. When it's nighttime and the whole little village area that's lit up looks nice. Everything about it was a big W that they addressed issues on. And I know they're going to keep addressing issues as long as it's fair criticism, guys. I only want Wuthering Waves to be the best version of itself, because I truly do love this game and I really want it to grow. I want it to get to the mainstream. I understand it's hard for gacha.
I agree. I do want it to do well. The thing is, I think we want it too much sometimes. People in the gacha space, it needs to be like, you know, it needs to be looked at as like a freaking, I don't know, a Call of Duty or a Grand Theft Auto. The gacha space might seem niche within gaming in how it's looked on in terms of eyes, but the space is massive, man. It's making crazy amounts of money. At the end of the day, as long as the game's enjoyable and Kuro are making enough to reinvest in the game and it to continue because it's a priority for them because it's making the money, that's all that matters to me. The game doesn't need to be the next big thing, you know, because I think once a game gets too big, I think it becomes so big that it eats itself with all the different people tugging at it and all the different political views and what people want. And I think they try to please everybody and then they end up pleasing nobody. So I'd happily keep Wuthering Waves as a niche as long as it continues to make Kuro enough money to make the game better, personally.
Into the mainstream, especially because the only one that did was Genshin because of the COVID buff.
Yeah,
but guys,
massive COVID buff.
Gacha games make a lot of money. They have the potential to keep investing in their product and gain so many players and make one of the most amazing things ever. Think about it. It's not a AAA title. When AAA titles are made, they spend a lot, but that is the final product. With these gacha games, not only do they spend a lot and it costs a lot to make, but then they make back a lot of the money, so they can expand and create these new worlds that feel amazing, that anybody would want to play and be like, yeah, there's gacha elements to this, but this game is amazing, I want to play. Not to mention, Kuro already rewards players, and that's a positive benefit.
Well, this is what I was talking about in the open world video. I think creating a game like Wuthering Waves and like Genshin, it's kind of becomes its own problem in a sense, because it's a game first with the gacha system attached to it, rather than just being a gacha game through and through, and everything is designed to work within the system. You know, kind of like how Zenless is in a way. And I know this game, a lot of and the same with Genshin as well, the systems are all designed around, you know, your characters, farming, mats, all that sort of stuff, currencies, pulls, whatever it be, leveling your character to progress through end-game content and all that sort of stuff, getting DPS checked to need to invest more and all that sort of stuff. But it is an action open world RPG at the end of the day. So it takes a lot more time to create the maps, to create the systems, to create the mechanics, to design the characters, you know, the voice lines, the story. It's all a lot bigger, isn't it? So I think we've got to take that into account as well, that's going to slow down the content that smaller games that are a little bit more compartmentalized and specifically designed for the gacha space. They're going to be able to churn out content a lot faster as well. And of course, we've got to remember, I think this is Kuro's first self-published global release, isn't it? I don't think PGR was, I could be wrong, but I don't think they globally self-published that game. I might be wrong, but you know, so I think we've got to give them a little bit of time to get going. But obviously, the modern gaming is incredibly cutthroat, so I understand as well. If they don't, it is going to be the game that suffers, and then in the end, people who enjoy the game are going to suffer as well, because we're going to lose a great game, aren't we?
But this is just a talking point in a conversation that I do feel like is in some players' minds and some content creators right now who do want to play more of the game and want to make more content for you guys, but it is tough right now. Let me know in the comment section below, guys, what do you think? As always, please hit the like, comment, and subscribe. And guys, don't forget to share this if you do enjoy it and spread the awareness of this talking point, as I would love to see it in the Wuthering Waves community. Just branch out and hear from what others have to say. That's it for this one, guys, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.
That was a good video. Gamba AJ, the Wuthering Waves. This is a problem for all players. I do agree with what he's saying. I do. I personally, like I say, I am a lot more forgiving and willing to allow that post-launch slowdown, because I just think it's inevitable with most games unless they've got this absolutely insane budget. Everything's prepped and it's, you know, it's ready to go. But I think Kuro have spent so much time in trying to listen and change things and make sure they're trying to keep everybody happy, which sometimes isn't going to be a good thing, as I said before. But I think they've been putting quite a lot of effort into that it's going to slow things down. And then, of course, they've had to adjust things with the banners, with 1.1. Everything had to come forward a little bit. So that's going to, of course, put a lot of pressure on future content and maybe delayed stuff a little bit, because they're trying to make sure that they don't clash with Zenless's updates and keeping themselves out of the line of sight of Hoyo, the absolute behemoth. Because if they don't, they're going to get crushed, because it doesn't matter how good Wuthering Waves is, Hoyo is just so freaking big. Just look at Zenless Zone Zero. That game divided so many people, but that game made $25 million in a couple of days. Absolutely freaking smashed it. 50 million plus downloads. So it shows like Hoyo with that like massive name now, that he just attracts people to it, doesn't it? So that they've got to make sure that they're like kind of, you know, dodging around all that sort of stuff and still trying to get the content out. So yeah, I agree with what he's saying. They do need to make sure they've got a constant drip of content, which hopefully will start to happen. But I'm okay to give them a little bit of time to get to that point. But I think all the points he made were definitely valid, in the sense that people will start to go to other games if the game's not keeping them, you know, keeping them coming back daily. And I think that's going to mean smaller updates that are going to create FOMO, which will annoy some people, because people like that with the events and the stuff that's in the game in the minute, it lasts for a good period of time and there's not that FOMO there. But I think they definitely need to start doing that and have a couple throughout a month that really freshens up the game, add variation to the end game, add more end game stuff like that. I think that's where they're going to need to go. But like I say, I think that's something that hopefully will come. But these are good videos because Kuro does seem to listen. So if he gets out there, you know, they'll get their eyes on it and they'll start to maybe discuss this sort of stuff. And maybe, hopefully, we'll get a better game out of it. But anyway, Gamba Age, it was a good video, that was. Yeah, agree on a lot of the points. What do you think? PGR was originally a CN game. It was in a global game before. Yeah, I was going to say it was their first self-published global game, wasn't he? That's a big issue, is showing the player will make it feel natural and on-grind. Yeah, slowing the player. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing with live service games. You've got to get that balance right, haven't you? Of enough content to make people feel like, you know, it's worth continuing without feeling that it's artificial, but at the same time, you know, not burning out on the content that the developers have actually got and retaining the players as well. It's like, it is a really hard thing to do. That's why there's not many live service games that really last the test of time, is that, you know, there's a few, and usually what keeps that is that core gameplay loop. So that's why I think they've got to work on some serious adjustments to endgame, because with these games, that's what it's all about. It's kind of like an MMO, isn't it? People come for the initial look of the game, probably stay for the combat, and then what that keeps them hooked and playing again and again and again is that endgame. And like I said, I don't think there's really a gacha game out there that's really nailed that just yet, in my opinion. Well, for me personally, and I'm hoping that Wuthering Waves can actually do that. Give me a second here. Man, it's so warm in my room. So freaking warm, chat. Hey, I want to watch this video here as well. This is kind of a good video to bounce off of from the last one we just watched, actually. It's kind of perfect. Just talking about the problems with Wuthering Waves and, you know, potentially not retaining players. Now we've got a video from Ben Remembered. Why? Well, I quit Wuthering Waves for Zenly Zone Zero. This is why. I think there's a lot of people who have hopped off at the moment, but as I said, it's because it's the new spicy thing. It's the honeymoon period. It's the new game, so of course that's going to be a thing. But let's see why he quit WuWa for ZZZ.
I prefer Zenless Zone Zero over Wuthering Waves. I'm just gonna go ahead and
How dare you?
say it. And here exactly is why. I've basically burned it down to 3 different points. However,
Okay.
there is definitely one giant downside. But we'll get into that at the end. So the very first thing that I'll get out of the way, the game's theme. I am very biased towards games, shows, whatever, that have sci-fi. Or
One thing I will say, I said this is why I said that I think Zenless would make a great anime. That I love sci-fi and I love the setting of Zenless Zone Zero. I think it's one reason why I really like that Nevernist to Evernist game, because it just, the setting and the premise and the atmosphere and the universe that you're in just looks insanely cool. And Zenless Zone Zero's universe looks incredible. It looks like a cool place to be. And as somebody who loves fantasy as well, I do think that maybe, yeah, that's probably a good point. I still prefer Wuthering Waves, but that is a good point, actually.
at the very least, it's obvious that it's
Obviously subjective, but still.
science fiction. I don't know why, it just is. I don't necessarily have anything against fantasy shows, but it just gets boring, and it often feels repetitive. Generally, it's all just
Well, I think that's the thing with fantasy anyway. You're always going around the tropes with fantasy, aren't you? You're going to have tropes with sci-fi. But I think they're a little bit more well-worn and weathered maybe in fantasy.
the same tropes. But I don't necessarily have anything against it, but I do definitely more prefer sci-fi. Although Wuthering Waves is not completely a fantasy game, it still really occupies that same place in my mind. If you
It really is. It's like a post-apocalyptic sci-fi fantasy kind of game, really, isn't it? Like, you know, sci-fi and fantasy are not like mutually exclusive. There is a lot of crossover with a lot of different IPs that are fantasy and sci-fi. Then you've just got your pure fantasy, you've got your pure sci-fi. But I think with a lot of them, there is a big crossover, isn't there?
You know what I mean. For some reason, Wuthering Waves and Genshin kind of feel like
What's up, Neil?
they're in the same part of my brain, while Honkai and Zenless Zone Zero is in different parts.
I agree. I do agree with that, though. As I said, obviously, Wuthering Waves looked at Genshin, saw all the things that it did, saw how big it was and was like, right, let's make that better. And I think they've done that personally. Personally, I think they've done that. And I do agree with this. So I think Zenless kind of sits in Hoyo's ecosystem, Hoyo's universe, the Hoyo multiverse, let's say. I feel like Zenless sits in between Genshin and Star Rail. You've got Star Rail, the turn-based game, obviously, a standard turn-based JRPG, just with a gacha system and a life service element to it. Then you've got Genshin, which is an open-world ARPG with a gacha system and a life service element to it. And then you've got Zenless Zone Zero, which is more like a kind of sort of semi-manual action combat fighting game with a gacha system and a live service element to it, but it kind of like sits in between Star Rail and Genshin in the way that it's like, it feels like to me it was purposely designed to kind of be relatable to turn-based enjoyers and action enjoyers, because it is obviously an action combat, it leans more into that, but it's just the way the perfect assist system works and the parry system works and the way the character switching works, so it's a little bit more automated than rather than you having full control. You do have control over it, but it's got that more automated sense to it. You can ignore some of those things, but you know what I mean? The way it prompts you and the way it pushes you into ways that it feels like it kind of leans more into that turn-based sensibility without actually being turn-based. I don't know if I'm making a coherent point here, but that's kind of how it feels in my brain. It feels like that's it, like smart people made Zenless Zone Zero, in my opinion. I really do genuinely think that, and I think it had a real purpose the way it was designed to be that, to really keep people who like Genshin and like Star Rail in the ecosystem of the hoyoverse.
And I just feel like Wuthering Waves more fits into the fantasy theme. And now with my bias out of the way, the style. Wuthering Waves is a more realistic kind of game, and the graphics are definitely way better, or not necessarily better. Compared to Zenless Zone Zero, the graphics in both games are absolutely great.
I would say that, obviously the subjective viewpoint, but I think Wuthering Waves has better graphics, but I think Zenless Zone Zero has it leans into the art style a little bit more. Not to say that Wuthering Waves doesn't have an art style, it does, and I think it's fucking amazing, but I think Zenless definitely leans into the aesthetic of its art style a lot more, which in my opinion, as somebody who prefers Wuthering Waves, and I love Wuthering Waves, I think I've said this multiple times, art style and art direction in a game will outlive graphics, you know? It's like when you've got ultra-realistic looking games, they look amazing, and for the time, they're great, and I love to see those sort of games. But 5-10 years down the line, you look back and you're like, oh, that hasn't aged well, that looks a bit rough now. But games that have really good art styles and have a really good art direction, 20 years later, they still look amazing, don't they? Obviously, you'll see faults in terms of fidelity and all that sort of stuff, but the art style carries it beyond its years, if that makes sense.
But Wuthering Waves has a more realistic style, while Zenless Zone Zero is more stylized. Both games still have amazing graphics. However, I still feel like Zenless Zone Zero has more graphics that feel better to me, if that...
They're more popping. There's, like I say, it's that I call it that pop punk. I don't even know if that's a genre, but I'm saying it. It is. You know, you got cyberpunk, you've got whatever punk, you got fucking steampunk. It's pop punk. It's that, like, you know, semi-future, modern, colourful, you know, ultra clean, crisp looking city universe kind of thing, you know, where everybody's well dressed and everybody's got bright colours and the world just, you know, it pops basically.
Makes sense. Like,
and
everything's very lively, all the characters look different and vibrant and looks really cool. And then you have Wuthering Waves, which is just bland, I'd say.
Obviously, this is his subjective viewpoint, but I'm going to massively disagree with that. I don't think the game's bland at all. I think it's probably darker, if that makes sense. It's not a dark game because it's a gacha game and it's still quite, you know, beautiful and vibrant, but I definitely think it feels a little bit more adult, if you will, than because Star Rail to me feels a little bit like that. Star Rail's beautiful, but it feels a little bit more like it leans into that, maybe sometimes, not all the time, being a little bit darker, where Genshin's a lot more brighter and vibrant, and I feel that Zenless is like that as well. But yeah, definitely wouldn't say bland in my opinion, but obviously that's his opinion.
This is talking more about the world, not about the characters themselves. The characters in Wuthering Waves definitely look really, really good, but even then, I really like the designs of Zenless Zone Zero more. So what I'm basically...
again, subjective. I think when you create open worlds, you're gonna maybe have a little bit more generic looking areas because it's just larger, and you know, you can't make everything, you can't put so much into every square inch of the map because it's much larger. Zenless does look amazing, and some of the environments look amazing, but to be fair, when you're in a lot of the combat instances, a lot of them are very samey and repeated as well. So, you know, I think that's definitely a negative towards Zenless, and some of the areas are quite bland. At the start, they get a little bit better as you go on, which kind of reminds me of Snowbreak. That's a massive problem Snowbreak had at the start of when that came out. It was just all the same. It was just like all the instances were just boring and bland. I don't find Zenless boring and bland, but obviously he's making subjective points here, so can't really disagree with them, but I don't agree.
Basically getting at is that the style of Wuthering Waves feels more realistic and
Yeah, it's a
grounded
preference.
into reality, while Zenless Zone Zero feels more cartoonish, if you would even call it that. And I definitely prefer Zenless Zone Zero's style way more.
That's
Then
fair.
the final upside, I think, to Zenless Zone Zero is what I would call the fun factor. Let me just...
One thing I will agree with, I said this, even at the start when Zenless feels a little bit Unga Bunga, and the game kind of tells you to play Unga Bunga, it still feels fun. It's this weird thing of it. It's obviously, like I said, the game has more nuance than what it shows itself to have at the start. But even when it doesn't show that, and you kind of just, if you want, obviously you don't have to at the start, even though it's easy and you can do it at the start. You can just literally go through the game left clicking, really, at the start anyway. Obviously, as you get further in, you can't. But even kind of doing that, it's still fun. It's, I don't know, it really does a good job at that. I don't know how, but it gets in my brain and I'm having fun, even though I kind of know that at the start I'm playing in a really simplified way, although there is more nuance to come. So I do agree with that. The game is fun.
quickly get up a clip from Tectone.
All right, let's continue here. Target demographic, furries and Zoomers. I feel like a lot of people who are older
Yeah, I agree with that.
aren't really going to enjoy this game too much because this is for much more of a Zoomer ADD audience and for furries, but it is what it is.
Honestly, I absolutely agree.
I agree with that, to be
I'm
fair.
not gonna go against it. Let's be honest here. And I feel like I am more inside of the demographic for Zenless Zone Zero.
Well, so what is he? What is he? Is it the age, or is he a furry?
Rather than Wuthering Waves.
both.
To me, everything feels more fun, which is more what I would like in a gacha game. In Zenless Zone Zero, everything from the story to even just the very font that they use for text feels really, really fun in my mind. It feels like everything's been chosen to be more fun rather than serious. And that's more what
Yeah, I
I
agree
kind
with
of
that.
look at
Definitely
for
agree with
gacha
that.
games. I'd rather have something much more fun. However, there's one downside to Zenless Zone Zero. And, well, let me say it like this. Wuthering Waves, initially, when it was released, it had some issues, and the developers responded immediately.
That's one thing I will say about Zenless. To me, so far, it seems like it has had a really smooth launch. Obviously, there's been a massive disagreement on the game, but I feel like the game as in itself, from the way it plays, personally, obviously it's anecdotal, it seems like it had a really smooth launch. I had the same for Wuthering Waves, actually, because I'm playing on a really good PC, so I never really had any issues. So when Kuro were giving us all this free shit for the game not working properly, I was like, sweet, thanks for all the free stuff, I'm having fun, I'll take it. But yeah, so far this video's really just been about his preferences about the games, which is totally fine, really. But I'm curious to see how we're getting into now, like some actual substantive reasons beyond just a preference of visuals and such of why he quit the game for it.
At least that's what I got from the whole situation. Everyone was happy that the developers talked to the community and how they even tried to compensate the issues with rewards in game. However, with Zenless Zone Zero, the main issue that people were mad about when it
TV
first came
system.
out, and I don't know if it still is, but it's about that the game is not difficult enough. Seeing as
Oh,
this is the main-
okay. Agree. I think a lot of people were really pissed off about the TV system from what I've seen. My major gripe with the game when I first started was the difficulty. But as I said, I think the game didn't do a very good way of showing you what was to come. And even when it does start to come, the game doesn't really let you know. And you kind of end up heading into a brick wall in a way, and you have to kind of rewire yourself with Zenless Zone Zero because you play Unga Bunga and you play really brainless. When you can't do that anymore, or you can't do it so much. It's kind of like, wait a minute, I've been on autopilot for a few hours now. I need to take a step back, which kind of like is a little bit jarring. But I remember that as the game launched, a lot more content creators, at least, people seem to be way more mad about the TV system, which I like the TV system. I just think it's bad in the story and the way it tells the story. It's a little bit abstract and distracts from it. But I do agree with that though, yeah. The game did feel really easy at the start. Don't you remember before the game came out, I was saying, dude, why do the enemies look so passive? They just don't look like they're attacking. We're obviously going through the Shiyu defense missions now. The game definitely does pick up a little bit, but a lot of it is more that there's a lot of damage sponges, which I'm not a fan of.
Main thing that everyone's talking about, I would expect that the devs at least would say something about it, like just acknowledge it. However, it's not really talked about, really. They're still updating and fixing the game, but the difficulty is never really brought up.
I think it's probably not as well, because they've got such a massive market in China and on mobile, and an action game like this is going to need to be somewhat easy to get into and have a little bit of a higher skill ceiling for people who want it, but you're going to be able to get through a big chunk of the stuff quite easy, because mobile players, you know, I don't know how people can play these sort of games on mobile. Personally, I can't play games on mobile at all. I don't know how the hell people play things like Wuthering Waves on mobile, because I'm just like, respect, because I just can't do it. So I could imagine some of it's got to be to do. I don't know how the frick do people clear holograms on mobile? Like, explain that shit to me.
They're still fixing the game and fixing bugs, which is great, and they're talking about it, and that's perfectly fine. But deep down, it feels like they're kind of ignoring the main criticism about the game. However,
To be fair though, that seems on point for Hoyo though, doesn't it? Really, if we're honest, you know. That's one thing that people were really happy about Kuro. There was the response. It seemed like they were listening. That's kind of the way Hoyo are, you know. And then it's like, hey, you know, there's been an issue, or thanks for all the downloads. Here's 30 polychrome. You know, here's a prima gem.
I try to look at this from the other side. It's pretty difficult to talk about the difficulty of your game. What if the developers just suddenly decided, like, okay, yeah, the game is not difficult enough, and then crank it up for everyone? That would just...
Giant cat testicles. I think they just maybe need to add another difficulty that's more designed for people on PC and console, in my opinion. Because the challenge mode, I don't really understand it. Like, the game must be super, super easy on the normal mode. I don't know what the endgame content kind of like, but going through the early stages of the story, you don't ever get into any difficulties, you know? And I guess that's a purpose, because they want to draw people in and then start to crank it up, I guess. And you know, once updates start to roll out, there's going to be obviously some harder content coming. I would imagine anyway. It makes sense for it to be there, because obviously what's going to keep people coming back, you know?
Just be stupid. Because people who are just getting into the game have a way harder time, while older players had a way easier time to get through the content and the game. So it's pretty interesting to see how this really all unfolds. In conclusion, I've decided that Zenless Zone Zero is better than Wuthering Waves. This is all my opinion. Get your own opinion in the comments. Don't attack anyone.
Fair video, you know, fair video, all subjective. Has he really quit Wuthering Waves, or is he just basically saying there that it's, I prefer Zenless, but, you know, it's a good title to bring in views. I can't disagree with anything he said, really, because it was literally all subjective. The only point that he really did kind of make that I guess was, you know, something that you could argue around was the difficulty in Zenless, which was more of a negative towards Zenless, I guess. Everything else was just preference, which is totally fine. And I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying, because I think Zenless looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the style of it. I do. I absolutely love it. Like, the cutscenes are just gorgeous, man. Absolutely gorgeous. And Wuthering Waves is gorgeous as well. They're just gorgeous in different ways, aren't they? You know, it's like two beautiful paintings with a different style, you know. They're both beautiful. They're just different. And of course, there's going to be some people who look at the one and say, that's ugly, and look at that one and say, that's absolutely beautiful. But that's just subjective preference. That's what people like. That's what people dislike. Yeah, it was a good video, though. I think he put himself across it eloquently. I thought he was actually going to go a little bit more into, you know, gameplay elements of why he didn't like, or he jumped off Wuthering Waves, but I guess, you know, they were all fair points, really. It seemed like it was all a bit more about the style, the aesthetics, and the visuals. Oh, yeah, but Ben remembered, small YouTube content creator, putting out some actual quality videos there, to be fair, for such a small channel. Definitely go check him out. Actually, I'm going to drop him a sub. Show some love, check out his other videos, see what they're saying. But a good video. I play PGR on mobile, so it might be different in playing WuWa. Yeah, dude, I played a little bit of a PGR. I can understand how people can play that on mobile. But yeah, Wuthering Waves, man, I don't get it. I don't know how people can do it. Like, you know what I mean? What's going on, Light? Difficult to say in ZZ is true to some extent. Like, the enemies felt so punchable, barely do anything. But yeah, it's when you get to the really, what is it, the shield defense stuff and the end game stuff, where it really starts to like, okay, I've got to use some of the nuance to the combat now to actually get my S ranks or actually even progress kind of thing. But yeah, you can kind of go through the rest of the content kind of just like bash, 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 bash. Like quite a lot of the content I've been like playing and looking at the chat like while I've been playing and missing my parries and my perfect assists here and there, but just getting through the content anyway. Where when you're playing Wuthering Waves, you just can't do that. You know, even in like some of the medium difficulty stuff, like you miss a couple of freaking dodges and your characters are getting blasted, which is, I think that's one thing I really like about Wuthering Waves. You know, you can get one tapped, can't you? You know, you can die in 2 hits. There's some abilities that as you go up the holograms, they will one tap you if you don't dodge them, and I really like that. I do. He didn't explain why he truly quit WuWa, but pointing, yeah, pretty much, yeah. I think it was more just the title, which is, it's fair. I understand that with YouTube. It's the game. It is the game. It is the game. All right, should we watch another video before we get on? Man, it's 20 to 10 and I ain't played a video game yet. I'm turning into Asmongold, I am, man. Stop playing video games and just watching videos. Should you pull Changli banner review Wuthering Waves 1.1? Well, I'm just going to say off the bat, this video is from Gacha Interact as well. So I'll show some love, drop them a sub as well. I haven't watched the content yet, so I might regret that. But should you pull Changli banner review? I'm going to say, yeah, personally for me, because have you seen her? I don't care about the combat meta here. I'm looking at the waifu meta, and sometimes, you know, the mommy meta has to come in front of everything else, and you've just got to pull for those freaking boobs, bro. And she's just a gorgeous looking character, so I don't even care if she's an absolute turd. She's getting in my team somewhere, and I'm going to force her to work, but I'm pretty sure she's going to be dope.
Welcome back, everyone, to Gacha Interact. Today, we're going to be taking a look at the second half of the 1.1 Wuthering Waves banner today. This character we're looking at in this video is Changli.
Dude, just look at her, man. Just freaking look at her. It's like they even put a tacit mark right under her titties. It's like, you know, they're going all out. I think she just looks gorgeous as well. Like, she is one of the coolest looking characters I think we've got in the gacha game in terms of just, like, how well is she made? And, like, I'm not even just talking about these. Like, the rest of her, she just looks great, man. Do you know what as well? When are we going to get different gliders? I want to see different glider skins. This should be a glider, a parasol. It's a perfect option to put this sort of stuff in the game, you know, start bringing it out. We could have a Juhei style dragon. You know, we could have parasols. We could have freaking anything. We could have, like, tacit discord type ones, you know, like flying tacit discords for gliders, which I know the glider, I think, is a tacit discord, isn't it? I think, because it looks like some weird looking freaky monster. But, you know, I want to see more gliders, man.
Let's go through this banner and see whether or not Changli is a good pulling option for you. And if you do enjoy the video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe and check out the rest of the channel for other videos you may be interested in.
Looks great.
We do also have a Discord you can join where a lot of our members talk with each other and we have a lot of fun in there. Now, on to the video.
Now, normally in these to pull not to pulls, we usually talk about the character first, but because we made a pretty recent video talking about Changli and her pre-release, if you guys want to go ahead and actually learn more about her kit and her character, you guys can go over there and watch that video as well. So we'll jump right ahead into looking at the weapon banner. Looking at the weapon banner and the weapon we have, it is Blazing Brilliance, which is going to be Changli's weapon. Now, it does have a main stat of crit damage, which makes sense, obviously, considering she is going to be helping a lot more with crit rate and whatnot. So a lot of her, you know, stats and whatnot are going to be helping with crit rate. It makes sense that her...
Also, I haven't really looked at the kit. I'm guessing she's going to act like as a sub DPS / buffer, I would imagine, yeah? I'm not 100, because like I say, I haven't looked into a kit, because I try not to do that too much. And I know you probably should in these games to decide who to pull for. But I genuinely, for the most part, I kind of go off how they look, if I'm honest. That's probably a noob move, but I have more fun doing it that way. But a weapon looks dope.
Her weapon's going to crit damage. Looking at the ability on the weapon, it states that attack is increased by 12%, and the equipper gains 1 stack of Searing Feather upon dealing damage, which can be triggered once every 0.5 seconds, and gains 5 stacks of the same effect upon casting the Resonance skill. Each stack of Searing Feather gives 4% additional Resonance skill damage bonus for up to 14 stacks. All stacks will be removed within 10 seconds after reaching the new max stack.
That seems pretty decent. Obviously, I haven't looked at a kit, so I don't know if it's going to, work with a kit, I guess.
Looking in general at this weapon, it seems obviously like a great weapon. Obviously, It's going to be Chang-Li's personal weapon, so if you're going for Chang-Li, this is going to be highly sought after. And there are some other weapons if you're looking.
We finally got Jinxie's signature as well. I had to go all the way to hard pity, but we got it. I'm so happy, dude. I was like chipping away at that so slowly ever since Jinxie's come out, and we finally got it as well.
For Chang-Li and who you could actually use them for. Once again, that's going to be kind of different, but in terms of what this weapon could be, honestly, any sword user could really use this weapon. It's going to have a higher amount of crit damage, and it's nice to give that attack percent. And although it's
always nice as well when you get a signature weapon that obviously works a little bit better with the character because of their kit intertwines with those, stats or buffs or whatever it might be. But it's always nice as well with one that's a little bit more good for general use, that it actually will work on a lot of other characters as well. It sucks when you get one that's really specific to a character, and then without that character, it's kind of just mid, because it's a shame then, especially when it's like a signature weapon and a 5-star weapon and one that you've had to put a lot of resources towards getting. So it's good to see that is.
It's a nice stat stick for the attack percent as well as the crit damage for characters that are just trying to have a higher damage ceiling.
Yeah.
It is going to be tied very much to actually trying to get those stacks of your resonance skill damage. So if you are finding a character that's actually going to be using the resonance skill damage consistently, that's probably going to be best for you. There are some other characters that use it, but personally, in my personal opinion, really with a lot of these games, and first and foremost, what you're trying to do, until you get to, games like Genshin, whatever, that have had so many characters, it kind of defeats the purpose to really go after a 5-star weapon while not going for the 5-star character itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, as the pool gets larger of characters, you're going to have kits that are similar and have attributes that, stacks or whatever it might be, particular mechanic that, it works differently, but it's the same base mechanic, so that weapon will buff them as well. That's a good point, that is, as well. I was saying this before, with Echoes, a lot of people are like, oh, this Echo's absolutely trash. That's why I've not been scrapping many Echoes, really, because it might be trash now, but come the future, obviously there's some Echoes that obviously more superior than others, of course. But, there's Echoes now that you've probably rolled and maxed out, and you're just like, oh, you've at least started to tune, and you're like, you know what, that's trash. I'm not going to use it because I need these particular substats. But those stats might actually be really useful for upcoming characters as well. So, I tend to just keep everything, man.
So, in my personal opinion, while you're going for
brilliance,
you should have Chang-Li first, and that should be kind of what you're looking for first and foremost, just because there's not too many characters that this is really going to line up with when looking at certain characters. There are other characters that technically, like I said before, could technically use this weapon. Characters like Rover, whether it's the Havoc or the Spectro version. There are other characters that could actually just use the weapon, Yang Yang and Sanhua. These characters could use the weapon,
would be good
and like
with
I said
Yang
before,
Yang, actually.
more or less it's going to be more of a stat stick for them. The Rover usually depends more on the ultimate, and then also kind of switching out with other characters. Yang Yang's a similar way, and Sanhua as well. So a lot of these characters are just not going to be really using this weapon to its fullest extent, whereas, some other, obviously Chang-Li, it's her personal weapon, it's going to be used the most. So if my personal opinion, if you're not...
It's always going to be tailored a little bit more to the character, but I do agree. I like it when the weapon works on multiple characters. And I think that's something that they could still do now, even though we don't have a massive pool of characters. Of course, new characters are going to come out down the line that, as you say, will work really well with that weapon. But it would be nice to see some weapons that are tailored, the signature for that character, and you're better using them with that character. They're going to get the most out of it, but, can really help other characters as well. Because as I say, you put so much mats into it that I just feel like that should be something that's taken into with... when they're creating, and I think, you're more likely to get people to maybe spend money as well then,
going for Chang-Li, then I would just say to skip the weapon altogether as well.
Guys, with Natlin coming up sooner than you might...
I gotta say though, who the frick's skipping Chang-Li? What's the matter with you? Why are you doing that? Why?
expect, I have one question for you. How are your savings looking? Lubar is a service that allows you to top up on Genesis crystals for a cheaper price, so
Has
you
anybody
can get
ever
that
used
last-minute
these?
grab of that character you've had your eyes set on. It's super easy and 100% safe because Lubar only needs your UID. No emails.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, obviously, I'm not questioning the dude's sponsor at all. I don't know anything about it, but I just like, it's either that you want to spend and you want to be a little bit tight, or you're spending so much that you got to try and make some savings here and there. Because I've just never really considered doing something like this.
No passwords. Many people have left positive reviews, and Lubar offers 24/7
You just pulled
live
Jan shit.
support in case you need help
Oliver,
with
I
any
do.
purchase. You can also top up your Star Rail account in the same way. After making a purchase, Lubar promises delivery in 30 minutes, but I got my Genesis crystals in just about 5 minutes. They've also
Yeah, dude, man. Bro, I swear to God, if it was like that, like, you know, within 30 minutes, I'm telling you now, if I'd bought one of them, I'd be like, I'll be stressing out after a few minutes. Like, I've been scammed. I've been fucking scammed. Where are me where are me coins?
proven themselves trustworthy through other creators like Dukaja, Jello Impact, Supera.
Obviously, I don't want this video to turn into let's freaking question the sponsor, because, you know, get that bag, I respect it. But when I hear people say that's the way you can trust it, is other YouTubers have made it like, you know, hey, look, well, this YouTuber uses it, so it's gotta be trustworthy, right? Let's face it, us YouTubers, content creators, are not the most trustworthy people, really, are we? You know, evidence has pointed out that enough.
Tom, Mujin, and Tevat Times.
Don't know
So
any
what
of
are you
these
waiting
people.
for? Use the link we have put in the description to top up today, and also thanks to Loopbar for sponsoring the video. Now, back to the content. Now let's go into the summary of the video and kind of talk about all these questions that we're going to ask. The first one being, do you need Changli on your account? Basically, how valuable...
The answer is yes. Yes, you do. You've only got to look at her. You need her on your account. It's simple.
Will she be for you? Another way you could ask this question is kind of like, what roles does your account have, or what roles do
The booba, the mommy, you know, the waifu, that's the role she plays, bro.
you need, or who else maybe already fills that? And, you know, with Withering Waves being in still kind of the early stages, I mean, we're still in 1.1, 1.2 is coming up next. So the game, you could say, is still kind of in the baby stages. There's not a
Hey, man, post-launch, isn't he? We're really still early.
lot, like a huge roster out there. And actually, Vixen, you did talk about that, and you were comparing with like how Genshin has a much bigger roster. So in our previous video where we talked about our Changli pre-release and talked about her kit, I did bring up Encore a lot because it does make sense. Because when you look at Changli's outro skill, she's giving fusion damage bonus as well as resonance liberation damage bonus.
Is she? See, like, as I say, I'm getting Changli, but I haven't looked into a kit. Because I just want to, you know, I don't want to spoil myself too much. I know it's a stupid way to look at it because you're not necessarily spoiling yourself, but I don't know. I'm not too fussed in looking into that stuff. I'll have a look when she comes out, and then we're pulling for her anyway because of the way she looks. If a character doesn't look so interesting, maybe I'll look at the kit then and decide, well, you know, I'll go off the kit, but I'm pulling her because she looks awesome. But I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That sounds perfect for a character like Encore. The only issue, and once again I talked about this, was that Encore takes
we're gonna
up
have to
a
start
lot of
building
field
Encore.
time
Yeah, she does.
after you use her liberation.
I literally haven't built Encore at all. I used her in that one mission you do when I think it's when you first go to fight the Mech Abomination, isn't it? And she does need a lot of field time.
And Changli kind of feels the same way, using a lot of those skills, getting her inflammement for her heavy attack. She is kind of, you know, feeling like around 10 seconds of field time, give or take, and the same thing with Encore. So that's a lot of time. That's 20 seconds with just the two characters. Never mind your third character. Even if they don't take up a lot of field time, more than 20 seconds is just, to me at least, seems like a pretty long rotation, especially when we would get to talking about...
Well, is energy regen going to be important then?
Up times on different buffs you've got going, whether that's coming from certain weapons or just other characters' outros or other kits, what have you. So when you look at all of the 5 stars in Withering Waves, I mean, we have Jian, Yinlin, Jinxie, and now we're getting Changli. When you look at these 4 characters, they're really all focused on damage. The first character that would be erring more on the side of support was probably going to be Yinlin. But even then, we know she can have a...
Yeah, she can do insane damage. She like really is like a sub DPS support. Yinlin is, in my opinion, really. And I agree with that. I was saying this. I want to see some more characters a little bit like, is it Tao Chi? I want to see some more tanky kind of characters and more. We need a healer as well. We need another healer because Verena is straight up the goated character in the game in the minute because she's a part of pretty much every team. Obviously, unless you're doing the Terror Reverse and you bring Baiji in because you need another healer because the vigor and all that sort of stuff. But she's just so freaking good that we need another healer that scales in a different way. That you use her in a different way. I think we definitely need that, and I would like to see some more defense-orientated characters that are designed to buff other characters off the defense stats and the way that they soak up damage potentially. I'd like to see something like that coming into the game as well. We do definitely need a bit more variety in that, because I think if we just keep leaning into this DPS stuff, when we were talking about power creep before, we are definitely going to get power creep, and not even like a power creep that's okay, it's there, but it's still something that we could deal with and something that's fun and it's not impacting the game too much. I think if we just keep leaning into DPS, we're just inevitably going to get it, because to make people want to pull for those characters, they're just going to have to get powerfuler and powerfuler, because we're not really talking about support and buffers and characters that are going to like help the entire team out, you know what I mean? So I definitely do think we need to see more support characters. We need to see a new healer, potentially, like I say, these sort of defense buff characters. I'd like to see a little bit more of that as well. I guess I know a lot of people might be like, well, that's boring gameplay, but it doesn't have to be. It can be made interesting.
A little bit of her own field time and deal quite a bit of damage and be more quick swappy. So the thing is, as far as pull value, you could still wait on Changli until we're getting a 5-star that is more heavily dedicated to supporting, whether this is going to be a 5-star healer or a 5-star support that's giving a lot of damage to the entire team, or just another character. I think a character like that we still kind of quite haven't gotten yet, at least in a limited 5-star, is going to have a lot of value, and I would say pull for that character. And I think at the
Even if they want to bring out a couple of 4-stars that kind of work like that as well, like, I'm down for it, but we definitely need it.
beginning of the game, we thought that's what Yinlin would be more of, and it turned out she was more of personal damage, which isn't bad. We're still lacking a character that's a dedicated support.
She really is like a sub DPS, isn't she? That's kind of designed to buff electric characters. But I love Yinlin though. She's awesome. She's fun to use as well.
And they're not so much about their personal damage. So at the end of the day, yeah, Changli's going to be great because she's the only limited fusion character that's going to, deal a lot of damage. So like I did mention, like Encore, if you have Encore, I think you can safely skip. And even if you don't have Encore, if you're still doing okay, even without a fusion damage dealer, I think you're doing okay. And I would say for a 5-star character that's going to come out in the future, whether that's 1.2, 1.3 onwards, really think about getting that limited 5-star healer, support, whatever. Because right now, all we have in a dedicated support, at least for 5 stars, is pretty much Verena. She's an amazing healer. She does give a universal buff on the outro, so that is a case where the outro is actually helping.
Dude, Verena is goated. Absolutely goated. S-tier character.
Everyone, and not just the next character. But when we get a limited version of that, I think that's something that's going to have incredibly high pull value. Now, does this pull away from Changli? I don't think it does. If you don't have Encore, I think it's perfectly fine to go for Changli, because that is filling a role on your account that you don't have, especially if you didn't build Chixia. Mortefi's a character you should have already built if you do have him, just because he works well with so many characters, giving the heavy attack damage bonus and just dealing damage from off field. That's going to be a great add.
Mortefi is good, but I just think Yinlin's just still better, in my opinion. But Mortefi is really good, though.
Asset to your account. So I think when looking at Changli, she's a pretty valuable pull from the start, just because in the fusion department, if you don't have Encore, then yeah.
We're forgetting the main thing here as well, man. The boobs, bro. The boobs. That's the main thing.
Changli is going to be definitely adding something to your account, and that's just a lot of fusion damage.
Now going to the next question we have, which is what kinds of teams are you trying to build? Now when looking at this, we kind of have to figure out, what in the roster we actually have that can actually be useful for her. Newer games like Withering Waves, like we're talking about right now, the new game like Zenless Zero, even, necessarily what, Genshin and Star Rail did at the beginning of their games as well. There wasn't too much of a big roster, so teams weren't overflowing with an abundance of characters that you could just use and switch out. So when looking at someone like Changli,
yeah, synergy's gonna get better, isn't it, with characters, characters that the kits now might not necessarily be amazing or work in potentially the way they even should, are gonna get better, because I was talking about this when we were talking about the power creep before, separate from like what I was just saying, just that it's okay if characters do come out that do potentially, have a bit of power creep, but if Kuro was smart enough and make characters work with older characters and the synergy work really well, that it's going to make those better. It's going to be like that. What is it? The rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing, where it kind of lifts everybody up. So there's that power creep where everybody comes up with it. So, it's kind of like freaking Dragon Ball Z. Everybody's getting powerful, but, so is everybody else and the enemies as well. So it's like, okay, we're getting God tier, but so is everybody else kind of thing. Apart from, like, the BRTZ fighters always get left in the dust. But I think as well, in even maybe adapting older characters in some ways to work with new characters, so they just become better themselves also. Even if it means tweaking characters and having little patches, we shouldn't be against that, because I think that's definitely a good thing. But yeah, the roster is small at the moment, and that's another thing as well, that I think that it limits what you can do so much in terms of combat and the variety of combat as well, doesn't it? Because it's the start of the game, and that's always going to be a thing. We haven't got the mega roster that something like freaking Genshin's got, and now Star Rail starting to get as well.
You kind of have to think, do you have the teams or the characters in the roster even to make it work? And are there even characters in the roster to make it work, or are you really focusing on something for the future? So looking at Cheng-Li and what she could use,
kind of like that with the Tower of Adversity. I feel a little bit strangled for what I can use, because it's like, and I haven't built everybody, but, obviously as the roster gets bigger, that sort of stuff will be a little bit more easier. The choices will be there.
There's other teammates. Thankfully, she does have some pretty good teammates that she can use. Just in general, when looking at her, you're probably going to want somebody to buff her personal damage. Usually with the 3-type character role, you're usually
she work well with Mortifee,
support, and then a sustain user. And then if you have a support and a sustain kind of together, you can have another damage character to switch out with the main DPS character. But as Riff just talked about, Cheng-Li really likes to stay on field a lot, so quick swapping isn't really an amazing idea. It can be done, but personally it just seems that Cheng-Li, kind of like a character like Jian, likes to be on field as long as possible to do as much damage while they're on field. So looking at some teammates, at who you're going to want to use, there are a few of them, and the first one we want to bring up is talking about Tao Chi, Mortefi, and some other characters as well. But first, talking about Tao Chi, obviously considering she's going to be a great sustain unit and a support all-in-one, she does create a shield, which is going to be nice for sustain for the active character, who you're usually going to be switching over to after Tao Chi. You're going to be trying to switch over to Cheng-Li. So that's going to be extremely nice. So once again, her outro skill.
We've got to really start building Tao Chi. I haven't bothered building her, and she's like an amazing looking character as well. And we've got her at like C freaking, I don't know, man. I don't know if we've got her at like C5 or something. So it makes sense now. We can start building her, start building on core as well. We've built Mortefi, so Mortefi, like obviously, it makes Mortefi's like a good buffer anyway, but he's going to work really well with her. But yeah, well, Verina's going to be as well. Come on.
Increases resonant skill damage for the next person that comes out on field. So obviously with Cheng-Li doing a lot of skill damage, that's going to be extremely good for her. But the problem is that you're thinking, okay, well, what if I want to have, Cheng-Li's heavy attack do more damage? Then you can use someone like Mortefi, who could kind of help you there. Just keep in mind, as we've talked about in the past, you can't stack outro skills. So if you switch from Mortefi to Tao Chi to then Cheng-Li, you're only getting Tao Chi's buff to Cheng-Li, and Mortefi's buff is going to Tao Chi. So it doesn't really help to stack too many characters. That's why having the 3-character rotation.
Yeah, in that situation, really, if you go over the heavy, you want Cheng-Li, Mortefi, and Verina, really. You're always going to have Verina in the slot, especially if you're doing harder content as well. If you're just doing like off-world content that's kind of simple, you don't necessarily need the healer. But like obviously if you're going into more instance, more difficult stuff, the healer's always going to be there. So yeah, rocking Mortefi with her as well. Like I say, I don't know a kit, so I don't know who I'm going to lean into more. But this is what I say. This is why I like to do this, because I'm going to find that enjoyable experience of learning. Am I going to be playing Tao Chi with them more, or am I going to be playing Mortefi with them more? Well, this is even if we win with 50-50. We're getting a little bit of our head of ourselves here, so we don't even know yet. We might just pull somebody we really don't want to pull. Hopefully that doesn't happen, because I've lost pretty much every 50-50 on the new banners. So, come on, Kuro. Give me some good luck this time.
And having, one extremely, healer support type character, for instance, Tao Chi in this instance, you're probably going to want, if you're using Tao Chi with Cheng-Li, another damage dealer, or, just someone like Yang Yang or something like that, or Sanhua, or Jansin, just some extra damage, or Yinlin, to actually just help get more damage out for the full team. But if you're using someone like Mortefi, who it's more focused on like heavy attack damage and he can kind of help there, then you're going to want, also once again, one of these other characters. But if you're just using another support, let's say you have Shansing or you have Verena or something like that, who's giving them a buff as well.
Verena
It
for the
really
win, man.
depends on, are you trying to get Verena's buff, who's like an all damage buff to a character, to Changli, or are you trying to make sure that Tao Chi is giving her buff? The third character or the first character in that slot.
Again, though, it depends how you want to play it, doesn't it? In the kind of content you're tackling as well. That's the beauty of this game, and I know all the games do have it, but that's the thing I like about this game. You can really tweak those little things, the synergy. You might be able to same outcome, but the way you go about it, like I do like that with this game. Whether you want to go for the full support or do you want to go for the buffs as well, or whether you're going for the, as you said, the Tao Chi sort of keeping the defense high and on the attacking that way. It's nice, and obviously I can't wait for the roster to get big on this game, because like I say, I think there's going to be some real synergy and some real good teams in the future.
Slot rotation is probably just going to be there for heals. So you're usually using someone like Baija or Farina to make sure that Changli and Tao Chi or Changli and whoever are not going to die when you're actually in combat. So all I'm going to say is really keep
is it C6 Baiji where she gets a revive every 10 minutes?
Mind what you're doing. You really want one support character with most teams to then buff Changli, and then the other character is really just there for sustain.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I like how you had...
That's the word I was looking for, sustain, using Tao Chi for sustaining. Yeah, okay, that I was trying to get to that, but words eluded me.
that format set up with Changli and Tao Chi, and then just kind of having another somewhat of
Dude, it took me a few minutes to get to this. There's two different dudes talking here, yeah. I'm not tripping. There is, yeah. It took me a couple of minutes to be like, wait a minute, there's two different guys talking here, yeah.
damage character. One that came to my mind was
Brain
Jixia,
Rot.
actually, because she's very bursty. She doesn't have a lot of field time, so it does give Changli the breathability to stay on field. And then Changli's giving Jixia a lot of resonance liberation damage.
That's a good point,
and
actually,
a lot
yeah.
of fusion damage as well. And then you're already, swapping back into Tao Chi and then Changli again. It feels quite comfy. That's something I personally would probably try out. So just want to throw that thought out there. The next question we look at is, do you need the weapons? And Vixen already talked about Blazing Brilliance earlier on, and I think he already summed it.
Personally, I don't think you definitely you need the weapons, but I think if you're pulling one of the banner characters, it's so much better to have the weapon. Of course, there's going to be different weapons as we go. Some are just better than others, and some are just more worth it, and some are, it's like, well, you don't really need that, and another weapon will work better with this character. That's going to be a thing as the roster gets bigger of weapons and characters. There's going to be signature weapons that might not even be the best weapon for that character. But for me personally, if you're pulling that character, it's always a good idea to try and pull the weapon. It depends on what you're doing with your mats as well. I think this is the thing. I think people get too mixed up on all that as well, in what's the right way to do it. I think if you've got a set amount of mats, and your currency, is the next character more important to you? That's what you need to look at as well. I think people get too wrapped up in like, I've got to min-max everything.
Up pretty well, that
which I understand is part of these games, but I think that's where some people lose a bit of the element of the fun in these games, because they're trying to min-max everything rather than just having a bit of fun with it. That's why I says I'm pulling Changli, because look at her, it doesn't matter how worth it she is, or that she's maybe not necessarily the support that we're craving or the role that we're craving the titties, man.
especially with Withering Waves, with the game being new, it doesn't really make sense to pull a weapon for a different character or even a 4-star. Now you could, because like he said, a great stat stick for other sword users like Yang Yang or even Sanhua, but it just doesn't make sense, especially guys, if you're free to play or you're like just paying for the battle pass and the kind of the monthly blessing type thing. I just would stay away from this unless you're pulling it for Changli. Definitely pull Changli first and then think about the weapon. So it's going to be really...
Yeah, I was going to say, unless a weapon's got some insane, ridiculous stats that will work with the character you've already got. I think it's a little bit mad to just try and pull for a weapon if you're not getting the character. You're kind of wasting those mats, really. I agree with that. But I think if you are pulling the character, it's usually, for the most part, worth, in most of the games anyway, and so far in this game as well, it's been worth it to try and go for the signature weapon as well. But as I say, that's probably going to change as we get a bigger roster of characters and weapons.
Great for Changli. I mean, you're getting the crit damage, the attack percent, all that resonant skill damage increase. It's going to be awesome for her. But as far as does she actually need it? I would go out as far to say as she actually doesn't. I think there's going to be a lot of 4-star options that you can do just fine with. And it, like I said, if you're free
I think that's pretty much been the case with all the characters in this game. I think some a little bit more than others, but I think, you know, there's definitely alternatives in this game that might not be as good, but, you know, do the job.
to play, that's going to be probably the better option for you, is just get a copy of Cheng-Li, and you don't have to pull on the weapon and just save up your
Well, that's easier said than done, though, isn't it? Come on. You know?
astrites for a
Especially if you're free to play.
character.
Now we're going to talk about weighing the dangers between looking at the no resonance chains as well as looking at resonance chains. Kind of what does the character look like at R0? Are they worth it? And then looking at an R1 versus an R2, the first resonance chains that you can get. So talking about Cheng-Li and her resonance chains, you know, do you actually need them? The first two resonance chains are nice and helpful, but it's not really a character that needs them. I don't feel like they are so goated to an extent where it's kind of like,
This is stuff I don't worry about too much as myself as well. I'd rather have a variety of characters personally than having certain characters stacked to the max, unless there's a real drive for me for an individual character. I know everybody's different, and I suppose that's how, you know, content, end-game content becomes a little bit easy. Of course it does, because some of them have incredible buffs. But, you know, I'll just let that happen for my 4 stars a lot of the time, because you just end up getting the copies anyway, don't you? I suppose that's just me looking at it from a more chilled out perspective of just enjoying the game and just kind of... And one thing I like about this game as well is because the game's a lot more mechanically skill-based, you know, that can carry a lot of the content for you, even if your characters are not set up right, you're using bad teams, you're not really playing it how you should be. You can still kind of like drag yourself through off your skill alone.
like for instance, if we jump back to another game, Raiden really wanting her
Of course, you still get DPS checked like any other game like this.
C2,
But, you know.
Hu Tao even more wanting her C1, a character like who really wants Eidolons in Star Rail, you know, someone like Acheron who does really good with the E2, you know, other characters that, you know, are almost like they just get to another level when they get those some of those early constellations or Eidolons. Here though, when looking at the resonance chains, it doesn't seem like these resonance chains are really necessary for these kits, which is extremely good for a lot of people that are playing the game right now for Withering Waves. It allows them to save and get more characters, and allows them to be a little bit more frugal with what they're doing, to be a little bit less spendy, which allows actually these characters to be extremely worth. You know, Jin C, characters like Yinlin, all the characters that we've had basically are really good with 0 resonance change, just at R0. But in terms of whether or not, if you're
Yeah,
like...
I think the only 5-star, I could be wrong here, I've got a memory like a but I think the only 5-star that I've got a copy of is Calcharo. I think. Just trying to think if I have. I don't think I've got copies of any others. We'll have a look in a bit actually, but I think.
Like, well, I don't care. I really like Cheng-Li. I want to make Fusion
It's a good
extremely
team.
good on my account, and I want to get
Start anyway.
one of the early
Can't
resonance
complain
chains.
with that.
Do I have to be like Hu Tao, where
Have these been took out of the elusive realm or whatever it's called? These rocks, because last time I played it on this new set, I wasn't finding any of the rocks.
I'm okay with just stopping at the first, you know, the second copy of the character and getting that first, you know, resonance chain or constellation or eidolon or whatever? Or do I have to be like a character like Raiden, where it's like, yeah, the C1's good, but you kind of have to go for the C2? Looking at the character though, the first resonance chain states that for Cheng-Li, the resonance skill Tripartite Flames and Heavy Attack Flaming Sacrifice increase Cheng-Li's damage dealt by 10% and gives a resistance to interruption. That's extremely good in my personal
that is
opinion.
really
I
good.
think if you're gonna have to go for resonance changes because you really want to, this is where you go. You kind of don't need to go for the R2, although it is nice and it's kind of like a nice help, and we'll talk about that in a second. I don't feel like it's actually extremely necessary to get. But looking at the R2, it states that Inflamement increases Cheng-Li's crit rate by 25% for 8 seconds. The thing is here is that Rift actually brought up a really good
And
point.
the thing with this game though as well, just a well-built character and a well-built team with decent echoes and a semi-decent weapon can, like, you know, make up for not having those copies really in the resonance chain. You know, it just... Obviously, it's always going to be better, you know, like having $1 million is better than having none. Having 2 million is better than 1 million, but you know what I mean? End of the day, it's like diminishing returns almost, and certain characters not so much.
Point when we were talking about this before we started recording, the thing with this is that all that's really going to do is allow you to go even more into crit damage on some of your pieces, looking at your echoes. So going into this doesn't really seem like it's extremely necessary. It just allows you to get a higher ceiling of damage is kind of at least what we were talking about beforehand. And I totally agree with that because all it's allowing you to do is go less into crit rate on your echoes and really go towards crit damage, which allows you to just hit an extremely high ceiling, especially because once you hit this inflamement, especially because you're probably going to be starting out with your ultimate, and once you use your Resonance Liberation or your ultimate, then you have 8 seconds of this crit rate increase. So all your damage is increased basically at this point by, it can be increased if it's critting more often, which allows you to then go into crit damage, which is then once again increasing your ceiling or giving you more attack percent, whatever it may be doing, that's going to be extremely helpful for you. So the R2 is nice overall because it allows you to have a higher ceiling.
Dude, I don't think I've ever been grabbed by one of those characters and then do that to me. Ever, I don't think. I've never seen that animation where he picked her up then and like stabbed her.
But the R1, if you're really looking at really early resonance chains, I would say the R1 is just so good in and of itself because it increases all damage dealt by 10%, and you're doing that resonance skill and that heavy attack pretty often in her rotation, as well as that resistance to interruption we've seen with plenty of other games, as well as other characters. Resistance to interruption is extremely useful, especially for the very fast-paced combat that we see in Withering Waves. We hope that this video could help you decide on whether this character or weapon coming up on the next banner are for you. As always, if you have any suggestions that may help other players, go ahead and let us know.
That was a lot of information right there. I'm not going to lie. That was a lot of information. Felt like I couldn't ingest all of that, if I'm honest. I was watching a lot of the gameplay in the background as well. I just get swept away by how good the gameplay looks in this game sometimes. I think really, personally, when it comes to these games, I play them a little bit different than most people. Some people are really into min-max, and I found that a lot when people come into my streams. It's like, and it's a little bit annoying from some people, especially when they come in and like, oh, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. And oh, your team shouldn't, you don't work like this and that don't work. And you should be really doing this. And it's just like, dude, I'm just playing the game to have fun. Obviously, you want to build your team to be as efficient and as good as possible. But beyond that, being able to like pass stuff and enjoy it, I really don't need to like min-max everything. I think there's people should pull characters that they enjoy playing, because let's face it, some characters are really fun to use. You know, Calcharo, insanely fun to use. Like, I like Tauchi. She looks amazing and she's useful, but I don't think she's that fun to use personally. You know, like, to me, like, Sanhu is not that fun to use. I like characters like Danjin. She's a great 4-star, probably one of the best 4-stars, but she's a lot of fun to use as well. And I think people should just pull characters that they want to get, because at the end of the day, you know, it's about having fun, isn't it? And if, you know, if min-maxing and being the best of the best and having the best team and, you know, your character's doing ridiculous damage, because I know that is an end game goal, is what makes it fun for you. Fairs. And these sort of videos are great for you, really. These guys spit a lot of information there. You know, great content. Gacha Interact. It was a good video, that was. But yeah, I learned a lot about Changli there, because like I said, I haven't looked at a kit, so I didn't really know what to expect. A signature weapon looks decent. I'm going to be pulling that. I'm probably going to try and pull a signature weapon as well. We'll see. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. She just looks awesome, so I'm definitely going to be pulling her, and her weapon looks cool as well. And visuals is a big thing for me. If it looks cool, I want it, you know, really. So yeah, great video. All right, should we play some video games, boys? Because we've been fucking about for nearly 2 hours and we ain't played any games. Let's get my dailies done. Get my dailies done. Yeah, dude, that's a decent starting team at the minute, bro. Calcharo's great, man. I love Calcharo. I know we put that video out about the sad downfall of Calcharo, but dude's sick. Fun to use. You know, can still seriously put out a decent amount of damage. I think at the minute, I'm pretty sure his flat attack for me at the minute is still higher than Jian's at the moment in terms of stats. Min-max triads have no interest in fun. They weren't bragging rights for message boards. There is that. I feel a little bit bad for people who, but then again though, if you know, whatever floats your boat. If you get fun out of it, then fair enough. But yeah, this is what I was saying earlier. I think this is one of the, I suppose, cons personally of the internet and content creation, in that like that sort of magic of video games has gone, because everybody's competing to be the best in, not just personally being the best at what they, because they want to get better. They're like, I've got to be better than this person. Oh, I've got to build. No, I've seen how they build their character. I've got to look at that, and I've got to build my character better. And I've got to pre-farm everything, and I've already learned the kit and how everything works before the character or the games even come out. So I'm ready to go, and it kind of loses all that magic, I think, of just playing a game to have fun. This is what I said about all these closed beta tests and alpha tests and content creator tests and leaked videos and sponsored videos for content creators. A lot of the games nowadays, by the time they come out, we've almost vicariously played the game, if not already played the game, so much that the game just doesn't hit the same. I think that's why so many launches nowadays kind of feel underwhelming. One, there's a lot of games that launch broken, but I think we've got we've played so much of it that it can't have that excitement of day one, sitting down, you got your munch, you're like, right, I've got a few hours to play my video game, and you just get immersed in a new world or a new experience, whether it's a multiplayer shooter or a gacha game or an MMO or that brand new story game. And I think it does, it ruins a little bit of that specialness of a game, It's like when you get trailers for films, isn't it? And you kind of get the entirety of the story put in the trailer, and it's like, well, I know what the fuck's happening now. What's the point in watching the film? I feel like we get that a little bit with games now, with the way content works. There's a few times when I switch to Calchariot. Oh, you want about his little animation? When he does that animation. You want about that? That's what you're talking about. That's his intro skill. He's the only character in the game, as far as I'm aware, that's got an animated intro skill. It's kind of weird. And when I say animated, I mean, the actual scene that he's got. And he doesn't actually freeze time, does it, that either? I think when that happens, the time's still counting down on time stuff, which is kind of weird. That's all about your concerto. I don't know why his ult would be automatic. He's but he has an animated intro. You know about this one, yeah? Yeah, that's his intro. So all the characters have intros, but for some reason, Calcharo's got like an animated one that looks like an ult. I don't know why I don't know what the deal is. It must have been something they just decided to leave in the game, but they haven't done with other characters. I'm not sure why. Maybe it'll have some more context when we meet Calcharo. It'll make sense, I guess. I want to know what the deal is with that, echo of in him or somebody else that's there as well. Can't wait till we meet Calcharo, actually. Because, dude's just this badass Giga Chad 5-star character. And he's just random. He's just some random dude. And he looks more badass than any character in freaking Genshin Impact for the guys. It's wild, man. Kuro would just here's his out of context sick dude. Enjoy. It's just what is he? Where is he from? Who is he? I don't know, but he's sick. Right. Okay. So we've obviously got to get these up another 3-4 levels. We did want to try and max these 8. We need to go and fight a Geochilone, and then we can concentrate on getting these all the way to 10. These are going to cost me 200k, aren't they? So they're not cheap. So we need to go fight a Geochalone. And we need to go get some of these. I don't think we can synthesize anymore at the minute. So let's go do these, and then we'll go fight that big fucking turtle. Yeah, for real, dude. Like, I can't wait till we meet him. I'd like to think that he's got something to do with Jian. You know, because they just seem like they're both soldiers to me. You know? That, like, maybe he's from another nation and they knew each other or something like that. That'd be kind of cool.
Time to wrap.
Dude, a few people have said that in my stream. They're like, oh man, I'm jealous, man.
You're wide open. Bide the time. Unstoppable.
Hey, I've not got many things to be jealous about, but hey, I've got a GN. I haven't even got a copy of him though. Actually, let's check that, because I'm not. I think it was just let's do Hold up, let's exit first, actually. I think it was just Cal Channel that I've got a copy of. Let's have a look. Yeah, just obviously Rover, but Rover's different, yeah? Just Cal Channel. What was his name? Examination order. Hits a target. It additionally recovers 10 resonance energy. This can be triggered once every 20 seconds. Wanted criminal or intel skill necessary means his resonance skill damage bonus increased by 30%. That's sick. That's sick. We're gonna need to go to synthesis, lads. Go to synthesis and make some fucking shit, man. I don't want to use too many of my perps, really, because I can use them for the other ones, can't I? I need another one. Guess what? We'll make one more, I suppose. Might as well turn these into gold ones. Just add to the roster that we've got. At one point we had like 1,500, man. It's the mats I'm lacking in the echo space now. Crit rate increased by 2.8%. Let's go with the crit rate, actually. We're gonna go get the other one now anyway. Let's go get this bell first. Where's this big fucker? Alright then. Yeah, it should come back. I wouldn't be against having double banners here and there as well. You know, when like a new character comes out. Obviously not launched at the same time because it'll take a shine off the new character. But say like you get a banner drop and then it's another like 28 days or so to the next banner or whatever it is. They could like 3 weeks into that banner drop a banner for, or like 2 weeks into that banner maybe drop that banner for that character, but have it like as a temporary banner that only lasts a little bit. So obviously there's going to be FOMO there, but you know, you could potentially And they could have it as like a rotating lottery where you want to find out a couple of days beforehand kind of thing, like, you know what I mean? So people can be like, all right, do I decide to just spend on this, or shall I save for the next character? It might take away a bit of the edge off the new launch, maybe. So I don't know, it depends. Yeah, I think as well, because a lot of people skipped the Gian banner because of knowing that Yinling was coming, not realising how good dude is.
Listen up. Tear them to pieces. It's nothing. My field of expertise. Luminous energy.
You're wide open. Break.
Dude, I hate this fight sometimes. Well, you just better not lock in on. Like, whenever you want to try and get up here to get that, it's just like you're locked on and you can't get up, and it's just like, fuck off, man.
Zap strength. It's our curtain call.
You should get plenty more, though, to be fair. And the banner will be on long enough that you should be able to, you know. I'm trying to play this like I was playing Zenly Zone Zero then and not pay attention at all.
Unstoppable.
No problem, if you're not paying attention, you need to be locked on. It's not bother me using Bell that much now anymore, because he's just like, fuck him. Just spam him anyway. Your soul is mine. I need a fucking health, one of those. Oh. Spoken into existence, lads. We spoke it into existence. These are really rare, these are. I've been trying to get this fucking thing for ages. Watch us get shit rolls on it now. Watch us get absolutely shit rolls on it. Alright, let's lock that up. We'll upgrade that in a bit. No, I didn't realize it was my limit, bro. Alright, let's do that up then. Fuck. Where is it? It's rejuvenating glow as well, yeah. No, where is he? Yo. Come on, give me some good rolls. Give me some good freaking rolls here, man. You better. You better. Okay, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Off. Oh. Game hates me, bro. That's it. I'm quitting to go play Zenly Zone Zero now. I'm going to make a video why I quit Wuthering Waves for Zenly Zone Zero. They're fucking sub-stat rolls. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's alright. That's alright. That's okay. What have I got on my one at the mini? Crit damage attack, crit rate, HP, heavy attack damage bonus. Flat attack's okay as well for Verena, because obviously that's all good towards healing. Resonance Liberation would be good as well. If this goes wrong though, I guess we could always use it with Baiji if we get the ones that don't necessarily benefit us at the moment, I suppose. And just having the healing bonus anyway makes it good. Energy regen, not terrible, not terrible. You hate Google so much, why? Dude, man, we're burning through these now. We are. We are fucking burning through these. Crit damage? Okay. Attack. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. So our healing bonus is 26.4%. Let me just check his stats at the minute. So HP is 18,320, attacks 884, defense is 1,032, energy regen's 126%, crit rate's 50%, crit damage is 176%. 10% spectral damage bonus. Right, so 884. 884. We want to keep our attack up, don't we? Okay. We just lost a bit of crit rate. That's not so important. You know. Okay. All right. Cool. We'll try it. We'll try to see what Where's this prick? Take a bit of damage. Oh yeah. That sucks.
Bide the time.
Right, hit me again. Hit me! Hit me! I love it! Hit me! I love it! Oh baby, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The 2K. The 2K. That's what I'm talking about.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, I don't think we were breaking plus 2K before.
Luminous energy.
Can't even see the fucking numbers on screen because these punts are big. Ooh, plus 725! Okay, yeah. That's good. That's good.
Leave it to me. Watch, I've had enough. Get lost.
Okay, we got the marina buff. We got the marina buff.
Crush them. My field of expertise. Are you looking?
Ready for battle.
Now, dude, you see how bendy his fucking spear was then? Limp fucking dick fucking spear. Dude, wouldn't it be funny now if we got another healing bonus? That'd be crazy. Like a buzz. Is that even a what was it then? The moon it clouds. Yeah. Dude, I haven't even leveled these ones up, have I? I need more mats for my echoes. Like, I've got plenty of tunes, but I need more mats. Okay, that's good. Okay. Alright, let's get some more heals, boys. Let's get some more fucking heals. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dude, I hate seeing these so low. We had these in the hundreds, man. It's painful. It's freaking painful. Okay, alright. Not bad, not bad. Not bad. See, I don't know whether like we're better just like, because I feel like having the increased spectral, it's giving us a bit more damage, isn't it? So I'm thinking like that's buffing out, but that fucking that 5-piece is pretty nice, man. You know, it's pretty nice. You bitch. Fuck, I only went to 19. Oh, come on, dude. We good? Oh, Resistance Liberation. Resistance Skill. That's okay. That's okay. That's good, actually. Wait a minute. Did we lose? What I did really with the characters I was just using, I just went, I went to like 40 if I could, you know, and didn't really any further than that. No, obviously I've got a lot more at like 70 now, but my Jian Shin's at 70. Like, I think she's good, man. You're gonna like, especially if you do start to do, if you do get to the point and you decide to do some Terror Adversity, it's good to have a bunch of characters leveled up, really. And with the game having such a small roster, you're gonna need a lot of them. Yeah, I think she's good, man. You know, she's like she's a good support slash kind of sub DPS. You know, she's like she's quite defensive minded as well. She's quite good for sustaining, really. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do. Should we go do some tacit fields? We need some actually, we don't desperately need echo mats at the moment, but we're definitely going to need to start doing that, aren't we? We are going to need to start doing that. Because we are getting low on resources now, so we're not going to be able to do that though, because we've done our weekly stuff, haven't we? So we can't claim any more of those. I want to level up Jinsei a little bit more as well. Let's concentrate on Jian at the moment. Let's work on these here. They're all gonna need bells now, aren't they? Though. Fuck my ass. So we ain't gonna be able to concentrate on any of them this week. This is where they start to take time because they're taking, you know, weekly mats we're talking about here. All right, let's concentrate on doing a bit of Jinsei then, I guess. Yeah. All right, let's do it. We're getting these from Synthesis. Forgery Challenge. Let's go synthesize some of these. Yeah, it's where you have to start doing your, you have to start like you know, your wave plates. Start using your wave plates for particular things then. So I did a lot of, I was using my wave plates to do tacit fields to get like echo materials. That's why now I need to start doing more forgeries for like my my traces and my abilities, like, which is the ones I needed. Hold up. Who was I on then? We need to work on Verena as well, boys, man. We gotta work on her, man. I feel like maybe she's a bit more important to work on at the moment because Jinsei is doing decent damage even now, you know? Alright, let's go forgery challenge some of these. So, best thing to do, you know, if there's a particular thing you need to level a character up, say like, you go into your character here, like, right, so I don't know, say you go into Jinsei, you look into Ascender, let's say you look into Ascender, obviously, if you're not at the point of Ascending, it'll say level up, and then you look and you're like, right, I need these to do it, you just click on them, and then scroll this down here, that's where you get it from, you'll need to go fight him to get those materials. And like this here, you can buy them or find them around areas, but pretty much basically. Same thing here. You can kill, you know, tacits and they drop from them, or you can go synthesize them as well. Let's have a look at a character that's not at ascension point. Right, leveling up Taochi. She's level 1, so like obviously your character's a lower level, so this is a bit more applicable. You've got these, right? So it's like, right, shit. Obviously, I've got a shit ton of these. I've got very little of these, so we need some perps. Where are we going to get them from? Although I can use these, of course, but I don't want to. We need to go simulation training. So it's like simulation training. It's back in the town. We go simulation training, and then you've got the 3 different simulation trainings you can do. You can do resonance potion, energy core, or shell credit. This one's if you just want to farm some cash because you get 80k instead of 4k. But this one, you get Resonator XP. Obviously, it's a bit RNG depending on how much you get. 8,000. You get the perps and the golds, and then this one is more for your weapons. So if you're trying to level weapons, you'll go do a bit of that. If you're trying to get echo materials, I'll just look at her titties. You know, say like you know, like whatever. This dude, whatever. You know, we want to upgrade him. We need echo mats. Let's say we need some of these. Tacit field, where can we get them? Tacit fields here. Then you can proceed, mark it on your map, go to it, fight them, and then you'll get the materials. You'd have to use your wave plates, though. These. This is where the daily stuff comes in. So you get 240 of these a day, and these cost, I think it's 60, is it? 40 or 60 to claim a batch of rewards. So you can do them a few times, and then you run out. And then, obviously, you can use your solvent crystal things then if you want to top up. Or you can decide to, like, you know what, I'm going to stack those and wait till I want to do some farming in one big chunk, which is what I did. I got up to about 50 of those. I've got about 20 left now. So I can do some more if I want. Once I've used that 240, I can use those solvents to get back 60 each time. So I can do a little bit more farming if I really want to get a particular thing done on a character. And I'm like, you know what, it's worth just using those now. Yeah, anything you need to get, just click on it, and the game will tell you where you can go and find it, pretty much. Like now, I'm after mats for leveling up Jinsei's abilities, so we need to go in here. Obviously, this is what we're after. We're after these things, which I can, like, obviously, what you can do with the synthesis as well. Say you need some of these, right, but you've got a shit ton of these, and these. You can use these to craft some of these, and then you can use these to craft some of these, and then you can use these to craft some of these. You know what I mean? So you can do that as well, like.
Tear them to pieces. You're my field of expertise.
You're wide open. Fear no more.
What's this?
Going against wind. Life is in everything. Zap string. It's our curtain call. Back off. My
Hey, bitch.
field of expertise.
Set. Tell truth. Son.
Leave it. You're not getting away.
Ready for battle.
Oh, shit, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, what do we need to do? Daily quest, let's go do it. Torek. Yeah. Well, let's what should we do? Let's get a resident skill leveled up a little bit. Okay. So I need these now. So I can get these off killing these fuckers. Which will do the daily first. Yeah, dude, this game's quite mechanically demanding, actually. That's why, to me, this game stands out a little bit from a majority of the other gacha games in that sense. Because, like, it is mechanically more demanding. Like, you know, it feels more like, I don't like to use the word real game. Because, you know, there's different games have different, you know, different gameplay mechanics. You know, depending whether you're playing an RTS game or a freaking strategy game or, you know, whatever it might be. But yeah, like, it feels more like a games game. You know, some of the fights, man, you're proper like fucking... You know, that meme of that dude fucking banging his keyboard and sweating. Yeah, dude, I don't get it, dude. I do not get it. Like, as somebody who's not a phone gamer anyway, when I watch people playing shooters, I don't get it. But you can see when someone's playing a shooter, I'm like, okay, all right. You know, they get bodied by people on PC. And I've played PUBG with an emulator, and it's fucking easy mode. You can absolutely murder people. The only time you ever struggle is when you come up against other people using an emulator. Which, of course, you know, that's going to be the case. So I just don't know how people do it, bro. I don't. You know, like, Honkai Star Rail, yeah, totally, you know, makes sense. That game, perfect, you know, turn-based JRPG. You know, you just press the buttons on screen. And even Zenless Zone Zero, even though I says like that's like a little bit more, well, I don't like to use the word autoplay because it's not at all, you know, because obviously you have to put all your inputs yourself, and it is an action game. But it's, you know, I was describing earlier, it's kind of like that sort of like less manual, if that makes sense. Even that, I ain't got a clue how people do that shit. So like, I don't know how people are tackling harder content in this game, let alone the early story stuff. I don't get anyway. Or going on and doing the holograms on mobile. Don't know where they do it, man. Like, for one, you need a decent frame rate on this, really, in my opinion, anyway. That's what we need as well soon. Higher FPS. I want to see that come to the game. And that's one thing I'll give that solo leveling a rise. I think that's got an 165 frame option on there. Which is impressive. Oh, let's go. We've completed these. We're nearly completed them, actually. What am I missing? Complete all quests of save the world, save the cat. You just gotta wait for them to come up, ain't you? Yeah, we're getting through some of these now. 90%, 46 to 64%. Okay. Okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. What's this? Standard weapon mold used for weapon crafting and rare crafting material. I don't think I've done any weapon crafting, apart from when you have to do it like as part of the story. Where does that echo thing go? I've got so many Pokemon. I might ask to come up new every time you get one of these, because it's like they've already had them before. It's not the first time you've got them, you know? Yeah, these are your solvents, crystal solvents I was on about. Alright. I think we all fall victim to that now and again, dude. Obviously, I know most critical was trolling, but whenever I do that, this is all I can think of. This video's got a special place in my brain. It just cracks me fucking up, man.
Kill him, I'll give you money. How much? What's the bounty on me team killing this guy and looking at his reaction? $5? Too low. This is a special gamer right here.
Come on, guys, we gotta go.
What is it? 200k GP. We're talking in GP, I'm on it.
Stop fucking shooting me! What the fuck is wrong with you? Chill!
There was a misinput! Calm down! You calm the fuck down! There was a misinput!
Oh my fucking god.
Every
God, this
time I watch
community
this
is
video,
overreacting.
every time I watch this video, man, it cracks me up.
Where's my bounty money?
Miss input! Where'd you get the reviving nailers? You can craft them. I don't know where you pick them up, actually. I've just crafted them on. I don't know where you can... I don't know if you can pick them. You might be able to. You probably get them for some stuff, I would imagine. But I've just crafted all of mine. Yeah, synthesis. You can craft them. Oh, that's the only way you get them. That's all that goes on in my brain whenever that happens to me in a game. You know, there's that part of me like, you fucking idiot. And then it's just like, I just hear Charlie going, miss input! Miss input! Yeah, you can craft them bad boys back in the town. I need about 400 else per battle.
Wind Rider.
Trust me, when you pull Verena, which you will, you'll get Verena. It'll be a different story, dude, trust me. As soon as you get it, you just be like, oh, where was you all my life?
Tear them to pieces. My field of expertise. Time to wrap it up.
You're wide open.
Double encounter, hey? How far are we talking here? It's not too far. See, you know when I was talking about, although obviously I don't mind because the traversal's good in this game. This is what I was talking about when a open world game can kind of detract from the actual elements of a gacha. You know, when you're doing something like this here, where you know I need to go and kill these enemies here, where it's like, right, I have to like, obviously, you know, you got the fast travel, but they'll be in between the fast travel, so you've got to do a bit of walking around to get them, which is part of the gameplay loop, and I don't mind in this game because I just enjoy playing the game, and the traversal's fun. But obviously, the more you play, the shine starts to come off it more and more, whereas in a non-open world game where you can just be like, right, I need to go kill this here, you can teleport to it, and either in an instance form or some other way, you just like, you know, you go through it, do it, you go through it again, do it, and you haven't got to necessarily travel around kind of thing. But I think all open world games suffer from that anyway, after time, because it's just a part of an open world game, isn't it? That. But I've still got, the thing with this, I've got still so much to unlock in the open world as well, because I haven't rushed through all that, which I know a lot of people do. And the games push you to do that, because like obviously, if you're free to play, it's a good way to get materials. You've got 100%, you know, exploring areas.
Ready for battle. Finale.
Yeah, I need to level Sanhua up actually.
Tear them to pieces. Photosynthesis. Watch him learn. Zap string. It's our curtain call. My field of expertise.
Tell truth to the sun. Break. You're wide open.
Give me your soul.
Fear no more.
You're right, sweet, sweet love to a dead by the fire. Space vagina. Hold on. Hold on.
Tear them to pieces. Time to wrap it up. Now
ready for battle.
Can you upgrade the grapple? I don't know. I don't think you do actually, bro. I'm trying to remember all the little things throughout the game. I don't think so. I don't know if you... It does upgrade the amount of cooldown there is, but not in any sort of range or anything like that. I can't remember actually though. No, you're asking me a question. It's like, I feel like I should know the answer to that, but I don't think you can.
tear them to pieces.
Luminous energy.
You're wide open. Unstoppable.
No, dude, I don't think. I don't think. Thanks to whoever just subscribed. What are these guys? Oh shit, these are far? Yeah, I don't think so. I wonder if that's going to be a next area over there. Right, boys.
Surrender your stuff.
Don't blink! My field of expertise.
Tell truth from the side.
Save me, boss.
Your boss was already gone, mate. Well, I was been having a lot of. That's the main thing, then, dude, man. That's the main thing. I'm glad you've been enjoying it. I've been having a blast with it. I'm still very much enjoying it, even though, like, man.
Surrender your stuff.
I've got to have dumped 200 hours into this game now, I would imagine. Somewhere near that, I think.
Time to wrap it up.
Because I'm not playing it on the Epic Store. I haven't got the actual,
The stage is yours.
you know, amount of time I've actually put into the game. I don't think the launcher tells you that.
Wouldn't hurt to be more prepared.
My field of expertise.
Yeah, Verena's, since we switched out that Echo, big buff for Verena.
Tear them to pieces.
Big buff, actually. Alright, how many did we get? Dude, are you shitting me on? I got fucking hell, man. Let's go back to 10 in a second, see if I've got any of the more of the stuff that I could use to damage multiplier of intro skill lungs halo is increased by 50%. That's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Oh, let's pop back to 10 in a sec. Yeah, man, I can't wait till we get the new area in this game. Because obviously I know we've had the new area in the island, but it's a new area within Jinzhou. I want to see, like, a new country, man. I can't wait to explore some of the new countries and, you know, the different vibe altogether. I hope they smash it. Like, I'm really looking forward to it. I actually do genuinely get excited about updates in this game. So I really like the game. Which is always, good to be in that position with the game, isn't it? Could do all the exposition. Yeah, that was one of my biggest problems. I think that's something that'll change slowly as the as we advance in the game. You know, I think that, well, hopefully anyway, if they've listened, they'll understand that, you know, people wasn't a massive fan of that stuff. Which one is it? The HF. How look up. Excuse me. I wasn't anyway, and I'm a lot more forgiving on that stuff. I am. Than a lot of people are. Nice. Nice. Oh, mate, what you having for dinner, mate? You having nice for dinner? I had a chippy today. Naughty. Chips and 2 pieces of fried chicken with a bit of goody sauce. And chippy round corner. For normal attack. New white place have we got? Okay, let's go go get some of those. We'll do some echo mats tomorrow or something maybe. We're gonna have to start doing that though. But we need this at the minute. I want to level the characters I've got. The echoes are okay for them. They're not perfect, but I don't think you'll ever get to a perfect set of echoes. You can get, of course, closer. That's just a thing over time, I think, with the echoes, you know. But yeah, I want to get these characters more rounded in all their attributes, really. Rice-a-roni and pork chops. Oh, a bit of pork, mate. Love a bit of pork. I'm just happy I ain't gonna get up in the morning, man.
Bask in the sunlight. I've had enough. Get lost.
Wind Rider.
Ridiculous buff you get there with Arena's ult and Yinlin. Yinlin's heavy. It's just fucking insane. Fucking insane. What's rice-a-roni?
Bloom. Tear them to pieces. My field of expertise.
Tell truth from the sun.
Leave it to me.
Ready for battle.
Yeah, like, Yinlin still does a decent amount of damage, man. Obviously nothing compared to this game, but like still decent. Give me that, please. Oh shit. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it again.
Bask in the sunlight. Growth will tear them to pieces. I've had enough. Get lost.
Unstoppable.
Just obliterates. Oh, we got a gold there, didn't we? Nice. Nice. Union level 52 as well. Ois. Ois. Right, we need to head to Dan. Synthesizer, get some synthesizing done. How much is it costing you in cash anyway in the synthesizer now? Because I've really got to start farming some cash as well. Because like where you're at now, where I'm at now, with like the Forte circuit upgrades, like it gets fucking expensive, man. Not in just mats, in lateral shell credits as well. Like some of them are like 100k a pop. I think like on the 2 at the edges, it's 400k in total. And then I think 30k in the one in the middle. So you're spending like 430k just on those 3 alone. Not to mention like the other ones. I think it is, isn't it? Oh shit, it's not going to show because I've done them in now. Yeah, so that's 100k. That's 100k. That's 100k. That's 100k. So that's 400k. 20k, so 420k on Jianshin there just for the top ones. That's not to mention all of the smaller costs here and the 50k's here. You know, you're talking millions, man. Crazy. It's when the farming really comes in. We need some of them, yeah. The perps. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah, what the fuck is Rice-A-Roni? I ain't gonna be able to get them amongst them. Fucking weekly. Oh, suck my tits. Oh, at least we got the other mats anyway. Wait, Verena at the minute. Can we synthesize any of the other ones? It's box right. Oh, is it just like a brand? Or is it just one of those things that's like, it was a brand, but people just call it when it's not that, you know, like how people call, tannoy, a tannoy. When it's not a tannoy, it's just a loudspeaker. Or like, you know, because tannoy is an actual brand of those speakers, isn't it? And people just call it a tannoy, but it's not. You could be like hearing somebody's voice over one that's not a tannoy, but you call it a tannoy because, you know, that's the one, you know what I mean? You have to brown it in butter, then you add water and the flavouring, then let it simmer down to cook. So like I had some rice today, packet rice today. I don't have to do anything like that, just stick it in the microwave. Rice-A-Roni is a brand. Is it like one of those where people maybe not even actually having the Rice-A-Roni brand, but they're like, yeah, I got some Rice-A-Roni, or is it like, am I wrong in there? Because some people do that over here with like potted noodles that are not pot noodles. They're like, yeah, I'm having a pot noodle, and you look and you're like, that ain't no pot noodle, bro. Or like in essence, it's the same thing, it's just not the brand, you know what I mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. You triggered 1 time a second. Oh. Yeah, let's get a resonance liberation up a little bit. Yeah, man, we need to do some serious farming for yeah, man, we've got so much shit to farm at the minute. We need echo mats badly, character mats, and obviously all this sort of stuff. So, like, I've kind of left this till late. We're starting to round off characters. Obviously, Jian's looking good now. We've, like, you know, these are almost maxed out after that, after this dude's maxed out in that sense. In regards to his, you know, his traces, his forte, whatever you want to call it. I end up just calling these traces. It's like with the what's in here as well, with the resonance chain. You know, you've got Eidolons, you've got freaking whatever you want to call it, S this, C that. I've just started calling them copies now because all the games have got different, like, terminology for the same thing. You know what I mean? It gets confusing, man. But that's one of the most confusing things sometimes in gacha games, when people are talking about stuff within gacha. They don't word things as well for, like, new players. They'll, like, you know, oh, the resonance this and Eidolon this and C this and S that, and like, new people are like, what the fuck does all this mean? You know what I mean? Because they're basically pretty much the same thing across the board, but, you know, they've got their own name within the game. Yeah, that's the nature of these games. It's I suppose the way the comparison that I'll give it to is kind of like some older RPGs, JRPGs, and some MMOs. You know, where you just get to a certain area, you've got to farm. You know, you need to either over level yourself or you're under leveled, and you've just got to do some farming. With this, it's more like, you know, it's a similar sort of thing, really. It's just in this, it's not like how it typically is in, like, say, an RPG or an MMO. As you're doing the combat, you gain experience, which levels you up, and then you get points to apply. It's more, you can be fucking beating enemies all day long, but you won't do shit for your character. You actually have to collect the mats and then use the mats to level your characters up, which is a little bit different. So it does, well, it is more grindy. You definitely feel it as well, because it's like that, because you're not necessarily getting that instant impact from winning a fight. You're like, oh, I've leveled up. Where, that's what I quite like about Solo Leveling Rise, because that does that. You actually level up your characters and then apply, your abilities to the characters. It works in kind of the same way, but it does it like where you actually feels a little bit more traditional, like a normal RPG in that sense, which is quite nice. Yeah, man. Today, I don't know what else we're going to do here, unless we have a go at doing some... Kind of hit a wall with some of these fuckers, didn't we? Let's have a go on this Heron. I feel like we're closest to beating him. We're a little bit stronger now. Let's try it. Yeah, dude. I did that the other day when I was in the Terror Adversity. I brought in some of the characters I ain't really used. And then I went into the menu and I was like, dude, I haven't even got full fucking echoes on this team, let alone, like, leveled up echoes. I've got 3 echoes. I was like wondering why it felt hard.
Don't blink! Leave it to me.
Tell truth with the sun. You're wide open. 7.
Tear them to pieces. I'll pay it back tenfold.
Camera angle fucked me then.
My oversight.
Oh, bro. Camera angle fucked me on that initial attack.
Roll for me. Luminous energy. Watch and learn. I can't keep going.
Fucking, you see my dodge animation coming then? What the fuck? fucked. Yeah, the camera switch fucked me though, to be fair. On that first one, that's why I got pegged the first time. Definitely getting back on the game after doing that. That's good, man. You know, you actually, So I was like this when I first, I'm still like it now. Like, I'll wake up some days and I'm like, oh man, I want to get on. Especially with this shit now, because I want to beat this shit, because it's just like, I've got to get through it now. I need to get this content done and do the Terror of Adversity. It's a matter of principle, you know?
Tear them to pieces.
Wind Rider. Don't you worry.
Fuck bro.
Ready for battle.
Dude, that
Finale.
heal's big though now.
No mercy. Crush.
You're wide open.
Bask in the sunlight. Back tenfold. Listen up. Tear them to pieces. I've had enough. Get lost. Watch and run. My field of expertise.
Ready for battle. Fear no more. Break.
Tear them to pieces. My field of expertise.
Tell truth with the sun.
Zap strength, the stage is yours. Time to wrap it up.
You're wide open. Unstoppable.
Definitely putting out a bit more damage on now.
Bloom! I can use some fertilizer.
Fucking pussy hole!
Roll for me.
Tell truth with the sun.
No mercy. Listen up. Tear them to pieces. My field of expertise.
I can take it.
Oh, you bitch ass, man.
Zap string. It's our curtain call.
Ready for battle. Prevail. The last thing night.
Watch and run. My field of expertise. Odysseus. Huh. Luminous energy. You won't cast me.
Oh, you fucking pussy!
Set it. Tell truth with the sun.
Swear, dude, I'm getting shafted on some of these fucking animations big time. Dude. Dudes. Game's cheating me. That's what it is. Game's fucking cheating me. And they got knocked then, man. Would have been, we had to lost, Shadow Ult and everything as well. It was like the worst time to fucking lose her, man.
My field of expertise.
Break. Tell truth of the sun.
Zap strength, the stage is yours. Back tenfold.
That was just a bad timing on my, on that heavy then. Got locked into the animation. Tats. I'm liking how much freaking healing Verena's doing though. Like, if I can pop out a couple of heals off her heavy, it pretty much heals them because I'm getting like 2k a pop, so it's like 6k.
Leave it to me. Tear them to pieces.
What?
I can't keep going. Back in the sunlight. I can't keep going.
Oh, piss off, bro. I had full stamina. I don't know where I'm not dodging that. I don't know where the fuck I'm not dodging that.
Photosynthesis. Tear them to pieces. My field of expertise.
Settle. Tell truth of the sun. Don't you worry.
I don't think you can, bro.
Roll for me. Tear them to pieces. I can use some fertilizer. Luminous energy. My field of expertise. Obedience.
Oh, man, that fucking animation shafts you sometimes.
Listen up. Tear them to pieces. Roll for me. Tear them to pieces. Going against wind.
Tell truth of the sun. My last breath.
Tear them to pieces. Life is in everything.
I can take it. Fear no more.
Fucking hate this bird.
Time for a short break.
I saw it coming, man, and I'll still let it happen.
Going against wind. Photosynthesis.
wide open.
Zap string. It's our curtain call.
Ready for battle.
Listen up. My dreams. I haven't.
I swear sometimes I'm getting fucking shafted with the dodges here. I'm telling you, like, sometimes I'm like, I don't know if it's just, like, I am just timing it wrong and I'm just fucking delusional. But, like, I swear sometimes I'm like, bro, I got stamina and I'm tying that sweet. And it's just like, nah, you know? Nah. Oh, you're so edgy, bro.
Good. There's no time to waste.
What are you doing, sniffing your mum's knickers?
My field of expertise. No mercy. Crush them! Tear them to pieces. Leave it to me. Photosynthesis. Tear them to pieces. I've had enough. Get lost. You're not getting away.
Wind Rider. Don't you worry.
Bloom.
You fuck! Fuck! So it was mid animation. No, don't wish it. Shit, bro. It was just like we were perfect then. We were hitting our parries just perfect, and then that little jump, getting caught in the float, and then bam. That was my own fault though. That was totally on me. Bad gamer. Sad times. You suck. Get good. If it was actually good at the game, we wouldn't need Verena, but we're not. So, you know, here we are.
Your time is over. Leave it to me. Going into nature fertilizer. Listen up. Tear them to pieces. I'll pay it back tenfold.
Like then as well, I dodged that first one, but I didn't even get the animation to dodge. I was in dodge roll then, but still took damage.
Tear them to pieces. Good. I'll pay it back tenfold.
Yeah, we're not playing it well this time. I keep getting my timing so off and like just using that at the worst potential possible time. Like I don't know why I did that then. Knew he was coming in for the attack. Know I'm gonna get animation stuck and still do it anyway, you know? Retard. Retard. Come on, man. We can do this. That's the thing. I can do it. It's just I keep fucking up.
Zapstring, the stage is yours.
You know, we're at the point where we're
My field of expertise.
You're wide open. Don't you worry.
What the fuck?
Photosynthesis. Tear them to pieces.
Wind Rider.
Who's coming in for it? It's only second.
My field of expertise.
Alright, no worries, Neil.
Ready for battle.
Enjoy Din-Dins, mate. Appreciate you coming through as always, dude. Have yourself a good day. Oof.
Life is in everything.
Unstoppable.
Tear them to pieces. Watch him run. My field of expertise. Tear them to pieces. I've had enough. Get lost. You're not getting away.
You're wide open.
Listen up. No mercy. My field of expertise.
A momentary setback.
Fucking camera angle fucked me then, not gonna lie. I couldn't time it properly.
Bask in the sunlight.
Ready for battle.
Dude, the camera angle's fucking me, man. It's the only problem when you end up at the edge. The camera angle just fucking bums you.
Blue. Zapstring, it's our curtain call. You won't cast me down.
I don't know how to counter that, really, if I'm honest. I genuinely don't know how to counter that.
Withering is natural to life.
I don't know how to counter that fucking move. I honestly don't know how to counter that. Because it's like, sometimes you just get lucky and he just doesn't come at you and he just misses. And then other times it's just, he locks on and there's like no escape. Sometimes it insta-kills me. Sometimes it takes 2 hits to kill me. Sometimes I can survive 2 hits. Like, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do there. I might have to. Like, obviously, I'm going to do it without needing to do that, because I will do it. But, I want to know how you counter that. I'm not too sure how you counter it, man. It's kind of pissing me off. Like, I don't know. Sometimes the camera angle does fuck you in this fight. Like, if you end up getting too close to the edge, the camera angle swings around like this and he comes up like this and you miss the timing and boom, you lose somebody and then that's it then. It's, as soon as you lose that one character, it's like, fuck. Because then you've got to pull them in, you've got to fucking quickly, well, you can use mats, I guess, heals, but you got to quickly use a Verena to heal them and it's just, It's like so many times now, we've got this dude down to about 15% health and then we just keep dying. Like, I haven't been able to just break that. Fuck knows what fucking version 6 is going to be like, bro. It's going to be fucking pain, man. It's going to be straight up pain, dude. 3 minutes after battle begins, the Imperial's Heron will increase his stat by 50%. Ah, that's probably why we're finding that what's it one taps or sometimes every 10 seconds stacking up to no limit. Shit, bro, that's insane then. So every 10 seconds it goes up 50%. I've only just read that. When hit by the Imperial's Heron's attacks, the character's defense is reduced by 10% for 15 seconds, stacking up to no limit. Startling Bow. When the Echo counter skill successfully counters a special skill, the next attack within 5 seconds will additionally deplete the enemy's vibration strength by 30%. Oh, I need to start using my echoes more than, don't I? Bruh, it's no joke, man. That isn't. That's no joke. That's what I'm saying about this game, man. It's got some genuinely difficult content. Obviously, the better your team and the better you set up, the better you're going to do. And obviously, there's going to be some people who just mechanically just better than me. And it's not, I don't even think it's just a mechanical thing on this. It's just learning. It's kind of like, I suppose, like Souls-like games in a sense then. Pattern recognition's important. And timing. And my pattern recognition's pretty poor. My timing's not too bad. Sometimes, it can be poor like anybody's, but my pattern recognition's terrible. That's why, like, I do struggle on Souls-like games, because I just struggle with pattern recognition and being like, right, okay, he's done this, he's going to go into this, he's going to go into that, and then he's going to do this, and I'll do this, 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 and this. I kind of like do it on a fly, and I'm just relying on fucking reactions, which, as you get into more difficult content, even like fucking 18-year-old kids on Adderall are going to hit a limit, you know what I mean? And to be fair, even though I'm getting a fucking old codger now, I was doing my reaction times not long ago on that website. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they were in the top % anyway. So, at the moment, I'm lucky in that sense. I haven't dipped off too much like that. I'm just retarded, that's the problem. You know? Which I don't think there's a solution for that. Can't practice my way out of being a fucking moron. Alright, okay. Yeah. He's beat me. He's beat me tonight. We're going to come back and kick the shit out of him, though. Obviously, as well, once I've got some of these traces up on some of these other characters, we're going to fucking butt-fuck that bitch. We're going to come back. We're going to butt-fuck him. We're going to fucking chop him up, and we're going to stew the cunt. That's what we're going to do, right? We're going to eat the fucker. Fucking heron stew, bro. So obviously, once we got these all leveled up as well, this is going to help out Yinlin a lot as well. Like, Jinxie will be really good, but like, Jinxie's not safe, man, and some of his attacks, I feel like Jinxie's better for the more grounded holograms rather than the fucks who fly. Just because of how unsafe she is in terms of you got to string out combos to get her to do what you need her to do. And Caltarel's not really great for it either, one, because, who he is, but two, he's a lot more stationary, so he's a bit better for the more heavy, slower ones, probably like the Aphelion Beringal and stuff like that, like. I think the team we're going with is probably our best team to use. We just need to buff ourselves to get the fighting a bit quicker, because it's what, 3 minutes it gets the buff? Is it? So if you can get the battle done within 3 minutes, you're fucking laughing at you. It was 3 minutes, wasn't he? Was he? Three minutes after the battle begins, yeah. So if you can just fucking DPS slap him about, he ain't gonna get, because that like the fight just gets harder and harder and harder, and exponentially as well. 50% every 10 seconds is fucking insane. I'd say like what, 1,000 to 1,500 to what, Well, it'd be what, 1750, wouldn't it? And then so on and so on and so on. No, it wouldn't actually, would it? It'd be more. Is it going to go 50? It's going to go 50% off what the value is, isn't it? So if it goes from, let's say, a K to 1500, it'd then be 15% to 1500, and then what's 50% of 1500? 750, is it? So that'll be 250, and then, like, you know, it's just going to get exponentially higher and higher and higher, right? If I'm reading that right, which is fucking insane. Dude, that's what I love to do in old school RPGs sometimes. Like, alright, okay, I see that dude's a bit tasty over there. Alright, bro, back in a couple of hours, watch me kick the shit out of you. I'm gonna come back so the old village was like, why was we even scared of this dude? What the fuck? Yeah, so I was going to play some ZZZ on Xenon. I'm not going to bother now because it's like 10 to 12 and we went on for like 3 hours. We did watch videos for like an hour, didn't we? Well, 2 hours really, which I don't mind because I'm enjoying doing that in streams at the minute. Changes things up a little bit. It gives me content to farm as well. You know, I'm devoid of creativity, so why not farm content and upload that? So tomorrow, probably a bit of a change of plan. I'm going to check out that flintlock and see if it's any good. If it's trash, then we'll just jump onto something else and probably check out Throne and Liberty as well for a little bit. Like I say, I'm only going to play a little bit of Throne and Liberty though because I want to play the game when it launches. So I'm just going to get a little test, play it for an hour or two, and then we'll probably we'll do our dailies on Wuthering Waves anyway and do some of our trace farming as well. So we'll be back on this. We'll do Zenless stuff as well, and yeah. And then Friday, no daytime stream because me and Rosie are going for food because obviously my birthday tomorrow, so Friday we're going to go out for food. I'll probably stream in the evening though, it depends. It depends if we end up just chilling, which we might do. And then if we do, I'll be back Saturday, so yeah. And no, I haven't got to pick Rosie up or take her to work tomorrow, so once I'm on, we'll be able to do a bit of a bumper stream tomorrow. So we'll be able to do a little bit extra. I'm looking forward to it actually. But anyway, it's been a pleasure, lads, as always. I do appreciate you. Thank you very much for hanging out. I appreciate it, dude, man. Thank you. Shout out to everybody, like I say, once again, I really do appreciate it. Everybody who has been watching the... Ooh, I'll watch this in a bit. I love watching a bit of Wings of Redemption stuff, if I'm honest. We'll check this out as well. This happened. Wow, Lost Ark 2 is here. Okay, interesting. We'll check that out. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been, you know, watching the content. I'm happy with the content at the moment. You know, it's doing well. I'm noticing as well that it's getting me into the algorithm because, you know, like this is usually what happens for the first 10 hours or so. The video doesn't get many views because subscribers are not watching it, and then YouTube starts to push it, and then boom, overnight it usually like 10x's, you know, goes from like something like this to a few hundred views. These last two have done all right as well, over 1,000. My aim is if I can hit between 500 to 1,000 views per video, I'm very much happy with that. Not all of them do it, you know, some of them are a little bit slower, like this one. This was an hour-long video though, so of course, not many people are going to probably sit and watch an hour-long video, but for the most part, I've been doing well, man. I'm really happy with them, and I'm starting to, like I say, get this theme with my thumbnails now, so I think, you know, people will, if they do subscribe, or even if they don't, they'll know it's, you know, it's got like, you know, my kind of stamp on it, I guess, in a way. But yeah, alright then, boys, I'll leave you to it. Thank you very much for hanging out, man. I do appreciate ya. If I don't see you tomorrow at all, have an amazing Thursday. Yeah, it's just going to be a boring birthday stream. We're just going to be chilling, playing video games, doing what, you know, a gamer wants to do on their birthday. And then Friday, like I said, going out for food. And I might not see you Friday. We'll see, though. And yeah, appreciate ya. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Okay? Enjoy your food as well, Neo. Shout out to everybody who's been watching, guys. You know.